Good job today, man. It's one at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Good evening, everybody. Let's talk Jets. August 17th. You know the season is almost here when Jets fans are arguing. They're unhappy. We got injuries. We got players returning. We have it all. And Bubs, I can tell you, this may be the first time that you're not ready for a show. You're not going to be ready for my chaos tonight.
Tyson, how's it going? Hopefully in the chat's doing well. Yeah, all it took is one preseason game, and Jet fans are back in full force. You know, it's funny. This has been kind of a quiet offseason. It feels like there's a portion of the fan base that's just so down on the team. Even on Twitter, throughout the summer, throughout offseason, you know, OTAs and mini camp and things of that nature. Even during the draft season, it felt like there wasn't as much of those heated debates on Twitter, as much of the passionate things you see from the Jet fan all the time. And I think a lot of it had to do with we're so bruised and battered and beaten down coming off of last season, the 3 wins. I think a lot of fans kind of go into this year with such low expectations that there's a portion that's kind of like, I don't care enough to argue, don't care enough to talk about this team. I don't want to talk about this team, but that is the wrong assumption, because all it took is one preseason game, a loss nonetheless, although it doesn't matter, of course, win or lose, but the loss probably doesn't help either.
Nope.
And we got the fan base with pitchforks going after each other. We've got some pitchforks at the head coach already. All it took was one preseason game, and we're already fire Aaron Glenn. Who can we hire in January of 2026? So, yeah, Jets football is back. That's all I got to say. And preseason round number 2 coming up this Friday. So who knows what we're in store there as well.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover. So we'll start with today's news, which is not good news, unfortunately, where running back Breece Hall, who had a funny slip up in the game on Friday night where he could have had a touchdown. The MetLife turf took him down. Today, hurts his leg. Everybody panics right at the bat. Groin sprain, I guess a groin strain, I think you're saying now at this point, and most likely back by week 1. Unfortunate for Breece. Also, the running back position now, Isaiah Davis is out, Breece Hall is out. Now Braylon Allen's the guy. But the injury bug's slowly starting to hit the Jets now.
Yeah, the Breece Hall injury news was really scary at first. You get the tweet. I read the tweet from Samini first that said he went down non-contact. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God. You know, you think of the list of New York Jets that could not go down. Like, I'm sure you could create a power rankings. Now, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but if you created a power rankings of the top Jets on this team that need to stay healthy, Breece Hall, Garrett, throw DeMario Davis in there. A few guys are near the top of that list of cannot get hurt or else the season gets completely derailed, and things would look completely different for this offense if it was a major injury. And of course, you fear the worst as a Jet fan. It was kind of the feelings I got last year when Fields went down and the first few minutes went by and all you heard was non-contact. He got up and you feared Achilles, you know, the non-contact injury, Rodgers, the flashbacks, all that stuff. So with Breece, you started to fear the same things, but as the updates continue to come out, he got up, was over at the Traders tent, was walking on his own power, and it seemed like he was an upper leg injury, so that took out any of the ACL or Achilles, the worst case scenario, and it comes out to be a groin. You get the report from Connor Hughes just a little bit ago that the imaging came back fine. He'll only be out a couple weeks. The expectation is he'll be ready for week 1, which is a good thing. I was still a little nervous with the imaging because we've seen this from so many Jets coaches that say it's minor, it's day to day, and then day to day turns into week to week turns into month to month, then it's IR, and it's like, okay, we really screwed this up. So all signs point towards him being ready for week 1, and that's fine. Ice him up. No need to play the next 2 preseason games. No need to be out there in training camp. Just get ready to go. Be out there in week 1 against Tennessee and make sure that you're ready to go there and healthy. So a little bit of a scare, but hopefully not the major.
Yeah, but I also think you got to go out and sign a running back now because you saw really good things out of Braylon Allen, 31-yard touchdown run, but you don't want him to be your bell cow back the rest of the preseason. So with, Isaiah Davis down, bring in another running back. I know they have 2 other guys too, but it's like now it's a matter of just you need bodies in camp at this point.
Yeah, camp bodies. Sam Scott got a few more reps today.
Yeah.
Zay Davis is still out. I'm curious to see kind of where he's at here coming up because it's been already almost 2.5 weeks, I feel like, since he suffered the knee injury. So he's been out. Obviously, Brees now out as well. You don't want Wangu taking reps as running back in the preseason because he's your kick returner, and he's been a guy, too, that's kind of has a history of injuries. So
can I say something? No, but Wangu, dude, I like the way Wangu plays.
Yeah.
The problem with him is his injuries, but he can catch the ball and run. He's explosive. Like when he gets through the line of scrimmage, he could take off, which you love that. But again, like you said, valuable returner, and he just can't stay healthy ever. Yeah,
the last thing you want him is out there in the fourth quarter of a preseason game pulling a hamstring or something, and all of a sudden he's on IR because that's what caused them to lose week 1. He got hurt. Gibson's back there instead of Wangu, and they lose that game. He single-handedly, even the Miami game, we probably win both those games if he's out there. Talk about one of the most valuable Jets. He's been that. Obviously not healthy, and a lot of times you could tell a guy's value when he's not out there, and that's been the case with him. But yeah, they got Chip Trainum, Sam Scott, so they'll get some more reps. Yeah. Maybe find another camp body, like you mentioned, for the next couple of weeks, just to take some of the rep share off of Braylon Allen, so he doesn't have to have all the reps if you meet, in that set. But just get other bodies out there.
But at the same time, if Isaiah Davis' timetable for return does not improve and you start getting closer to week 1, week 2, I go out and try to find our veteran running back. I find a guy that's been there, done that, played in the NFL. You just can't take chances, man. You don't want to get cute. Like, no big deal. No, you got to kind of watch all these injuries with the Jets. They always mishandle them, but it's also you want legit insurance packages, not some relative unknown. So you have Brees Hall's banged up. That's like Geno Smith's banged up too, which is okay. Not panic time now. August 17th. It's an ankle. It's a foot. Whatever you want to call it. And Rich Cimini loves this kind of shit. So it's like, he's got a slight limp now. But now you're like, okay, he has that. Do you risk even playing him in a preseason game now at this point? Because it's like, I don't think you probably should. I mean, because you can't take that chance at this point, especially knowing what's behind them, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Geno being banged up makes things a little bit interesting now.
Yeah, I think it's probably very much day-to-day with the ankle, see how he feels coming out of practices this week. Like you mentioned, Cimini had that tweet today that he looks a little slow. A few other reporters, too, tweeted that, kind of mentioned that he looks a little, walking around a little gingerly, not 100% clearly. He also had a sleeve on his left ankle, so clearly dealing with something there. Obviously not healthy enough to go out there on Friday against Tampa, which is the right decision. If he's not feeling 100%, there's no need to throw him out there in a preseason game. As much as I want to see him get the reps and think this first team offense could use the reps, if he's not ready to go and you're risking something further, you're risking missing regular season time if you throw him out there in a preseason game, then hold him back. Maybe this is something where they hold him back this week and then just look at next week as 100%. That's the 100% dress rehearsal. Go out there and have all the starters play and leave this week to Klubnik, the backup quarterbacks. I mean, Zappe and Cook, nobody in America needs to watch those guys, but, see a little bit more Klubnik, which I'm sure we'll get to here in a second. Obviously, maybe a few of the other starters, get some of the more rookies out there, some more reps, some more burn. So I think you look at Geno as possibly throw him out there against the Giants, dress rehearsal, 2 drives or so, 3 drives as a ramp up for week 1 and, on to Tennessee at that point.
So that's the bad news where you have Geno banged up. Brees is going to be out. We also got some good news where Tavondre Sweat's coming back. Him and Osai are off the PUP or the inactive list, or whatever the hell those lists are at this point, but they're back and they're taking it slow, both of them, which I have no problem with at all. They're both veterans. You both do that. The concern is Sadiq and Pons are still out, and it's just like it's like a lost training camp, dude. And people can call me negative. I don't really give a shit at this point. They've missed training camp. They're missing preseason games. They both play positions where you want to use there are a variety of skill sets where you want to play Pons inside, you want to play Bonds outside, you want to play Sadiq, inside, outside, do all these different things. Your best ability is availability, and neither one of them are in practice or making preseason games. So now it's like, ready for week 1, great. But what can you actually expect of them? Probably not a lot. It's probably week 4, week 5 where you may see more out of them than anything. Because that's kind of, if there's a disappointment, it's got to be that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. The Pons injury to me is even more, I don't know if I want to call it frustrating or disappointing, because with Sadiq, we got the update. He suffered a setback. It was clear. Pons has been out since day 1 of camp, and it's the calf injury, and he's been listed day to day for the entirety of camp. he's been on the bike. He's been working on the side field. He's still not back. Like, you start to get a little concerned of, is this something more than the Jets are letting on to?
Yep.
If that makes sense. I mean, it's day one of camp. He suffered the injury, and we are sitting here. Tomorrow's going to be practice number 12.
Yep.
We are heading into training or preseason game number 2. Next week's it. Then roster cut downs the week after that.
Yep.
It's crazy. Blink of an eye. We only have a week and a half, 2 weeks left of camp. We are more than halfway through camp. Usually it's about 16, 17 practices. We're 11 practices in. There's only about 5 to 6 practices left. Pons was out there for day 1, and that's it. He's the one I'm really starting to get concerned with, and I'm even getting frustrated with that too, because that was a interesting battle to watch between him and Brownlee for that starting slot corner job. And you have to think Brownlee's going to get that, because do you trust just throwing Pons out there for a rookie that was not out there at training camp at all as the starter? And then how long does it take for him to ramp up and potentially become the starter in the regular season? With Sadiq, at least we knew he suffered the setback. He was going to be out for a couple of weeks. Pons, we've heard nothing. He's on the side field every day, and he's not back yet. I was hoping he would be back yet, or next week, or last week rather, for Tampa. Yeah. And that would have been a good first opportunity. Okay, you're back for the joint practices. That's good experience. Maybe don't play and rush him along in the game against Tampa, but then maybe have him out there this week against Pittsburgh. He's not going to be out there this week against Pittsburgh, bearing something unforeseen. So that's already 2 preseason games he's missing out on. So Pons is the real frustrating one with me, and a little bit puzzling, because he's been out the entirety of camp with the calf injury, and it doesn't seem like there's any progress there of him coming back. With Sadiq, he suffered the setback. We kind of know the timeline, maybe back next week or towards the end of camp. And with Sadiq, it's frustrating too as well, because he's not learning the offense. He's not building that connection with Geno. And
he's missed Sadiq. And he missed OTAs too.
Yeah, exactly. Missed OTAs, missed minicamp, which a lot of people forget. I'm glad you brought that up. That was 10 practices as well that he missed out on. And with Sadiq, this was somebody who I thought actually the first few days of camp was playing pretty well. You heard his name a lot. He was one of the top rookies the first few days that you were hearing. Him and Geno were on the same page. There's clearly been more of an effort to get the ball to tight ends, because Mason Taylor's had a good summer so far, but he's missing out on all that. So they're both frustrating, because they're 2 rookies that you'd expect going into this year, we're going to play 2 big roles, 2 starters, Sadiq and Pons possibly. So yeah, that's definitely tough to see those 2 guys still not out there, especially Pons.
All right, so we covered the injury report, and that's something we always keep a track on. It's the NFL, and it's all about adversity. It's all about handling it with depth, coaching, and everything else. So we go into the game Friday night. Now, to be fair, we talked about this on Monday. I talked about this on Tuesday with Ian. Geno Smith in my world would play 2 series. Cade Klubnik would play at least 2 quarters, and then let the other guys figure it out. I genuinely don't care, because preseason is a time to learn, earn your reps, earn your playing time. Just show what you can do, and let the coaching staff know how far you developed and how much more you need to do. Fine. We get the news Friday that Geno Smith is injured, hurts his foot. Cade Klubnik's going to start. Now, keep in mind, this injury happened on Thursday. They knew on Thursday, though they had 24 hours to figure out their plan. Cade Klubnik goes in. Now keep in mind, not against the Tampa Bay starters, against second stringers. Two scoring drives, touchdown, field goal, great. He looked poised, looked like he knew what he was doing, made some mistakes. The throw to Garrett Wilson, while it was high, I mean, he looked first preseason game. They take him out of the 2 series with 5 minutes into the second quarter. Bubs, I first guessed it then. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the perfect time to let this kid play and figure it out. Let the ball fly. Throw it around. Just get used to being in the NFL, the speed of the game, the offense, and otherwise. He also practices with the second string. It's not like, oh, these are guys he don't know about. He actually practices with these guys. Exactly. So there's no harm in this. So my question is, what exactly are the Jets doing? They're like, well, they're just protecting him. Then here we go. You're a stats guy, but so am I. So how many other rookie quarterbacks played, and how much did they do? And they did a lot more than the Jets did. It's ridiculous. Here, so I got it right here.
Yeah.
Garrett Nussmeier, 19 pass attempts. Drew Aller, 13. Carson Beck, 19. Ty Simpson, 25. Fernando Mendoza, 16. So every other rookie quarterback in the NFL can play, but Cade Klubnik only gets 7 throws. That's ridiculous, dude. So the question is he not ready and they're scared to expose him? Is it they're worried about a quarterback controversy? Please explain to me why they did this. And I would say, why are you so worried about it? You only get 3 preseason games. And if Geno's healthy, Klubnik's not going to be playing the rest of the season. So you got to see what you have. Furthermore, if he's your backup quarterback and he can't play or he's not ready, you need to go sign somebody. So it's all, there's no downside of him playing in this game. Oh, he might get hurt. So what? That's called football. So instead of letting him play, he may get hurt. We can't play him. We can put him in bubble wrap. He hasn't earned reps. He hasn't proven he's a starting quarterback or a backup quarterback. He's proven nothing in the NFL. There is no reason whatsoever to limit his reps at all.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I'm glad you brought some of this. Yeah, you're 100% correct, and I don't get the fan base that's just okay with the 7 pass attempts, 5 of 7 called a night. And I'm glad you brought up some of those numbers. I'll throw a few more on here. Carson Beck had 19 pass attempts in the Hall of Fame game. That was kind of the start of, the stretch of really good play from rookie quarterbacks so far this preseason. And Joe Fanano, too, the UConn quarterback with the Ravens, UDFA, got a ton of reps. He was up to 28 pass attempts, which I believe was the most out of any quarterback the entire week 1 from Hall of Fame game all the way throughout, last weekend's game. There was no excuse for Klubnik to only play the little amount that he did, especially the way that he looked, how well he played. You wanted to see him continue it. And I had such mixed feelings going into the game because when you hear that Geno wasn't playing, there was certainly a bit of disappointment because you wanted to see Geno and the starters out there and what they look like. But at the same breath, and I'm glad that you mentioned it because I went to the same area in my mind. Okay, well, Klubnik's going to get his set reps, like let's say 2 quarters, and he's going to get Geno reps. Bingo. So you would think in theory going into the game, Klubnik's going to get 2 more drives than he would have thought. That was the silver lining. That was the glass half full thinking to the Geno injury that Klubnik, we're going to get a whole 3 quarters of Klubnik potentially here when we maybe only were going to get 2 quarters of Klubnik.
100%. But
the fact that they threw him out there, he went 5 of 7, 56 yards, looked good, had the 2 third and long completions to Garrett, which was awesome, and looked calm, cool, collected, composed, all of those things that you talk about a young rookie quarterback wanting to look like. He had that. And by no means are either of us saying that he's going to Canton now because he had 7 good plays from a pass attempt standpoint. But we should have saw more. There's no reason not to have him out there for another quarter or 2. Nope. And I'm so sick of hearing the excuse, this coach, it's a true competition. I wanted to see Bailey Zappi. I wanted to see Brady Cook. Let's get real for a second, coach. Brady Cook is god-awful. Terrible. We know what Brady Cook is in the NFL. Yep. And Bailey Zappi is god-awful too. You and I and 90% of the chat could throw a better spiral than Brady Cook. Yep. And Arian Stonehand Smith stinks too. So, throw him in the mix too. I know the second interception wasn't on Zappi, but the first one was awful on Zappi. He threw back-to-back picks. Zappi's not any good. Bailey Zappi and Brady Cook taking Cade Klubnik reps is inexcusable.
It is.
In a perfect world, Geno's healthy for all 17, and he plays well, and this team's competitive, and they win games, and offensively, they're just average, right? That's what we talk about. Can you just be average offensively? In a perfect world, Cade Klubnik doesn't have to see the field, and Geno plays well, and that means that the only time Cade Klubnik's going to see the field is now in the preseason. Bingo. This week, or last week, this week, and next week. And throwing him out there, he basically played the role of Geno Smith, which is inexcusable. It just doesn't make any sense.
But the other thing, it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. It's like he had 7 throws, and it was like the next day. Like I know, like as content creators, you want to get all the views you can and subscribers. Oh, Cade Klubnik looks great. He shined. He looks excellent. Can we just be realistic for once? He looked okay. He looked poised. He also looked like he needs some help. He had the blown handoff to Breece Hall. I mean, like if that ball and the ball says a little bit higher to Garrett Wilson, like, they were off the field.
And so then the play, the 2nd and goal, I think it was, not to cut you off, but there was the 2nd and goal where he left the pocket way too early. That was another play. He took a sack, but it was his fault. He left the pocket.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's a work in progress. He needs all the reps, and he could have very easily got him. But more importantly, you're trying to find out who your backup quarterback is because you need one. And if he's not on the roster, which he's not, you got to go find one. How do you find this out? By letting him play in the fucking game. It's as simple as that. This isn't rocket science. And I'm so tired of hearing, well, he earned it in practice. No, you don't earn reps in practice. You earn it on the playing field under the lights. Because how many times have we seen Jet players be good in practice and they go in the game and they shit the bed? Too many times. So Klubnik has to get the reps and prove he knows what he's doing. He didn't do that. He showed some things, but now it's like this Friday night, he's got to play at least a half, at least. And then the Jets got to say, okay, you know what? Something we knew back in January, they need a backup quarterback. We literally been talking about this the entire offseason. Bailey Zappi is awful. Shocker. Brady Cook is a practice squad quarterback. If best, probably shouldn't even be here anymore. So why are we playing this game? Like, I don't understand it. It's stupid to me. And the one thing I don't want to do is play Klubnik when he's not ready, because that's dumb. We've already done that in the past with quarterbacks. And I don't want to tank the season that Geno gets hurt. I don't want excuses for this coaching staff. I want this offense to run if Geno gets banged up, because, it's just enough's enough with incompetence.
I'm right there with you. I'm sick and tired. We're all sick and tired of the losing, the waving the white flag, excuse this guy hurt. We couldn't. No, injuries happen. You've got to be prepared for them. We've seen this before with the Jets not being prepared from a backup quarterback perspective. And great. So 7 pass attempts from Klubnik. And I know he's going to play the next 2 weeks. So this is maybe a little bit of an invalid argument, but he looked fine. It doesn't mean he's ready to go. It doesn't mean that you can now trust him, throw him out there week 3 if Geno got beat up and be ready to go when you're limiting his reps. And like you mentioned, I don't want to hear the practice nonsense at all because he hasn't looked that good in practice. So don't give me he hasn't lit it up in training camp. He didn't light it up against Tampa in the joint practices. He's had some good. There's been some bad. I think it's been very mediocre. I don't think he's stood out at all. I don't think the only reason he's sort of running away with the QB2 job is because the 2 guys behind him are terrible. That's why. It doesn't take much to run away from Bailey Zappi and Brady Cook, and we know what those guys are. And Tyson, you're spot on. We talked about this in January, February, March, April. Bailey Zappi's not good. Brady Cook's not good. We know this. Everybody knows this. The Jets seem to not understand that, but again, they don't understand much, so I guess we can. That's not much.
And the other thing, too, it's like, this makes you become, because I'm old, that cynical, same old Jet fan. It makes you cynical. I'm like, all right, they're not playing him. Why? Are they scared that he's not ready? And they're going to be like, well, you traded up in the 4th round to get him. Well, all these other quarterbacks are playing. Are they doing that? Are they scared that he plays well and there's going to be this quarterback controversy? Like, what is that? It just doesn't make any sense. And now it's okay, we're going to give you this pass because we got to talk about the rest of the game. But now it's like Friday night, all eyes are on Cade Klubnik. He has to play a half of football. If he doesn't, like, why are you hiding him? What are we hiding here? And the one thing that's driving me crazy, Frank Reich knows what he's doing. Okay, great. So what is it then? Because everybody else is playing plenty and he didn't. So to me, it's just odd, dude. And it's like the reason why I feel it's fair to question this, because we saw this coach be incompetent last year. It's not like this is John Harbaugh. Trust John Harbaugh. No big deal. No, why are you sweating it? Because Aaron Glenn should have been fired last year. So now our whole thing is just trust Frank Reich. Okay, well, this decision is questionable. Now you have to play him week 2 and week 3, and you have to go find a backup quarterback and stop being so arrogant about it.
Yeah, and look at the few coaches that let their young quarterbacks let it rip out there.
Yep.
Garrett Nussmeier, Andy Reid, Ty Simpson, Sean McVay.
Yep.
So Aaron Glenn is not on the good side of being an outlier in this, from a coach not letting the rookie quarterback kind of let it rip, let him get all those reps. And I'll say this too, and I'm glad you mentioned this a little bit earlier, just to kind of spin back on the one point you made. It's because I've seen this a ton, and it's total nonsense. Oh, well, he was out there with the starters. You don't want to throw him out there in the backups. That is so dumb, because he's been practicing with the 2s all summer long. That is total nonsense excuse for why he's out there. He's been practicing with the 2s all summer long. He got some time with the 1s. The fact that the backups were out there has no impact on why he should have or should not have played more. He should have played more. There's no reason for him not to play more. And it was disappointing. And there was a lot of meat left on the bone. There was a lot of reps left on the bone. And there was honestly a lot of takeaways left. Because to be honest, it was also tough to evaluate some of these 2s when the quarterback minus Klubnik was just awful.
But that's
Omar Cooper Jr. was dealing with Bailey Zappi. It's kind of tough to evaluate some of these depth receiver guys, some of these other players that you want to evaluate when the quarterback play was so bad. Klubnik had a rhythm. He was playing well. Let's evaluate him and also evaluate these other pieces as well. So it was way too premature. And here's the reality. everybody could call us negative, whatever we want, whatever they want to call us. This head coach has zero built-in excuses. Zero. Yep. This head coach has proven nothing. So any little move, it's just the reality that you question is you're going to be critical of it because he's proven you nothing. He does not deserve any sliver of the benefit of the doubt. Any sliver, especially with the way that we saw the quarterback situation handled last year.
That's exactly right.
So,
and that's why it's fair. And that's like, I got all kinds of my last video, I got all kinds of comments on. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, listen, it's just, this is a fair conversation to have. It is, no matter how you look at it, because it's not just us. It's like even NFL analysts across, like, man, that's surprising. Especially when, again, it's Jet specific because we went through all the quarterbacks that all played significant reps. So that's done with that. Club better play a lot on Friday. Glenn, I mean, it is what it is. The quarterbacks, Zappy, horrendous. Brady Cook, terrible. The offensive line looked solid. The problem you have is you played against the second string Buccaneers and the third string and everything else. Also, it's vanilla offense. It's a basic install. You're not going to see a lot. Both teams did blitzing, but nothing crazy. They got off the field great. Where it gets interesting is at wide receiver, where you're like, all right, Garrett Wilson looks like he's in regular season form with the incredible catch. I knew he's out of practice today with a sickness. A.D. Mitchell didn't do much. You saw Omar Cooper Jr. get involved. But the Isaiah Williams thing is interesting, where it's like it seems like he's passed Omar Cooper Jr. on the depth chart where he started with the starting group. He was with them. Maybe Omar. The one thing you can think about too with that is Aaron Glenn's a Bill Parcells disciple. Bill Parcells did that a lot in his time with the Jets and his career, where he never gave that rookie like the shine early on. He's like, oh, you know what? Second, you got to earn for a string. So I'm not going to put too much stock into it now. While Isaiah Williams has had a good camp, he may be trying to motivate some of these young guys by not giving them that nod right off the bat. Like, you know what? You got to show us a much better camp to pass Isaiah Williams.
Yeah, for better or for worse, Glenn, since he took over last year, has preached competition. Yep. He's often used the saying of, nothing's written down in pen. I think it is. He mentioned that a few times last year. I think this is one of those situations again where trying to maybe light a fire a little bit under Isaiah Williams. You saw it last year too with Tittman. Remember the whole Josh Myers, Joe Tittman thing. Now, turns out it didn't even matter because AVT gets hurt. Tittman slides the guard. Myers starts anyway at center. So it was kind of a non-factor in the long run. And now Tittman's your long-term piece at right guard. But we all knew Joe Tittman was better than Josh Myers. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But it was kind of sending a message to Tittman, sending a message to the other offensive linemen like, hey, we've got depth here. We believe we have depth here from last year's standpoint. Let's, a guy that they brought in Josh Myers. Tittman, of course, wasn't one of their picks, preaching competition in that sense. So it feels like it's one of those things again, but it's also too a credit to Isaiah Williams, who has totally emerged. I mean, I don't think Isaiah Williams would have been out there with the firsts if he was invisible so far this camp. So I think there is definitely something to Isaiah Williams and what he's done this summer and how much he's flashed. And you've heard Glenn talk about it a lot. He is forcing the coaches to give him more reps and more opportunities because he continues to take advantage of every opportunity he gets. He continues to have these strong practices to the point where they have to give him more looks. They have to give him some more chances and maybe expand his role a bit. We looked at Isaiah Williams, forget just even the Omar Cooper thing. We looked at Isaiah Williams at the beginning of the year as the wide receiver 5 behind Tim Patrick. I think by now he's completely blown by Tim Patrick.
Yeah, I agree.
Tim Patrick had the nice block on the Braylon Allen run play, but you have heard nothing from Tim Patrick in training camp, and you didn't see anything out of him from a pass catching standpoint on Friday. Isaiah Williams has definitely blown by him, and there seems to be a little bit more competition there from the starting slot standpoint. So credit to Isaiah Williams, but yeah, also the whole competition element goes back to the cornerback too. I think A.Z. Thomas is running away with that battle, but it's still very much Nashawn Wright, A.Z. Thomas. They're fighting for it. Although I think, it's pretty, you could tell that A.Z. Thomas is going to win that battle and he should, but obviously Glenn's not going to say any of that. He's going to want that competition to continue.
And the other point you really made a really good point before is when you have Brady Cook and Bailey Zappi in the game, it's like you can't really see your passing offense because they can't pass the ball. But I will say this. Arian Smith is as advertised. The dude just can't catch. He couldn't catch last year. He can't catch this year. He can be a speed demon. He is a special teams guy at best. Any competition now, it's got to be like, just give him a handoff because I think other than that, you're going to be screw catching the ball. And disappointing, but you got to own it. Thankfully, the Jets have pivoted and their wide receiver room is deep where you don't even need them to contribute. But that pick is what we all expected. It's not a good pick at all.
It was the most obvious throwaway day 3 wide receiver that the Jets have had again. And we've seen the Jets do this a ton. This isn't just Aramuji. Go through the long laundry list of Jets wide receiver picks that they have just thrown away on day 2 and day 3. Arian Smith being the most recent example of that. And we all knew it. They took him in the 4th round for a guy that, by all accounts, was a priority UDFA. People did not look at Arian Smith even as a 7th round pick. All of the top draft experts had him as a UDFA. Jets took him in round 4. We all knew what he brings to the table from a speed element, but he doesn't do anything else well. He can't run routes. He can't catch. He hasn't had a good. He's flashed a few times in camp, but he flashed a little bit last year in camp. I think he is your typical like training camp warrior because he can kind of just let his speed take over when it actually gets to a game situation where the speed of a game catches up to him. He's not nearly as effective as he is in a practice or a 7-on-7 setting where there's just open field where he could just let his speed take over. When you need to be more fine from a route running perspective, hands come into play, football IQ, all those things from a wide receiver standpoint in a game, he doesn't pass that test. Training camp where it's a little bit more free, he can make some plays, but you got to perform on the field. Training camp means nothing in the grand scheme of things. So he's a complete zero. He gives you absolutely nothing as a wide receiver. And we talked about this, I think, last week. You look at Isaiah Williams maybe kind of taking over the role that we thought for Arian Smith, where Isaiah Williams was working with the Olympians, track stars this offseason, put on some speed. He showcased that throughout this summer so far. Maybe he can be that kind of vertical threat speed guy that we hoped Arian Smith would be, although we all knew that it wasn't going to be the case. Yeah, I mean, Stephen Hill, go through the list of just dreadful wide receivers.
So you got the wide receivers where you saw, you didn't see a lot, unfortunately, because the Jets passing game is just not, once Cook and Zach came in, it was a complete joke.
Almost like we saw that for 4 weeks last year. That is not effective.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost Brady Cook is as advertised too. So then you go to tight end group where Mason Taylor had a couple grabs, having a phenomenal training camp. Sadiq is out. So you're like, all right, what are they going to do behind them? And to me, Jelani Woods keeps making things interesting where he didn't have any catches because they can't throw the ball, but he's blocking, he's healthy, he's got ties to Frank Reich, he's a huge asset, like a huge target, 6'7". So I'm just curious to see if he keeps getting reps over the next couple preseason games. If he can find a way in this roster, you have Rucker, but then Andrew Beck hasn't done much. He's playing with the 4th string, I think, at some point. Yeah. He was in the game late. I'm pretty sure late in the game in the 4th quarter. So I'm like, his roster spot's got to be on the line, or they're looking for something there. So the tight end group is Jelani's kind of interesting, man. Again, I'm partial. I wanted to see him play last year, and the Jets blew that. So I'm curious to see what happens in the next 2 games.
Yeah, I think we're really heading to what you and I have talked about a lot, which is the 4-man tight end room, and Beck is the odd man out. Even the few plays that Beck have made in camp, the quarterbacks that have thrown him passes are like Zappy and Cook. So he's been with the 3rd and 4th teamers. He hasn't even been really up there with Klubnik at all. It's been Woods, Chase Curtis, UDFA, who won't make the team. He's actually had some plays in camp. Even he's gotten some reps. But it's been Jelani Woods, and Mason Taylor's got more run, and Jelani Woods has also got more run. All 3 of them, really, because Sadiq's been out. So that's kind of been the one silver lining, if you want to call it, with Sadiq out, is Mason Taylor, Rucker, Jelani Woods have all gotten more burn, specifically Woods in this part of, what we're talking about, obviously, in terms of his chance of making this roster. But he's got the ties to Reich. He gives you more of that receiving upside than Rucker, and Rucker can give you more of that Andrew Beck type of role where they're not as repetitive. It deepens things a little bit in that back end of that room. Just somebody that knows this system, and somebody that he's not going to be your number 1 tight end. We are, splitting hairs at the end of the day. He's essentially your number 4 tight end, 3rd pass catcher in line, if you will, because he definitely would draw more looks from a pass catching standpoint than Ruckert will. But you're looking at a guy that was off to a really good start in his career, and it's been the injuries that have plagued him over the last 2 years. I wish we saw more of him last year, but he's got athleticism. He's an athletic freak. He's got some speed. There's some things to like there, and he's had a really good summer, and I'm right there with you. I'm intrigued to see what he looks like over the next 2 games. You want to see him go out there and put it together a little bit more in a game setting. So that'll be another name to watch for, but I am fully on board with Mason Taylor, Sadiq, Ruckert, Woods, and Beck as the odd man out. And I could definitely see we're heading to that, and I could see Reich pounding the table in a way for that. Like, I want this guy. He's spoken highly of Woods in his press conferences a few times.
Yep.
I want Woods. He gives me more from a pass catching standpoint than Beck, and Ruckert can give me what Beck brings to the table.
Yeah, so you're looking at, just to recap the offense, you saw some good, you saw some bad, you saw some questions. I think leaving the game, you say, you know what, we need a backup quarterback. With Brees out, you definitely need another running back on the roster, just another body to get just not burn out Braylon Allen at this point and risk him getting extensive reps and trotting out guys that just can't carry the ball. Defense gets interesting because you had the debut of David Bailey, who is as advertised. Again, you're not going to show a lot in his first preseason game, but you saw the explosive step. You saw him collapse the pocket on Will McDonald's sack. David Bailey was forced, getting up the middle. So a lot of encouraging things there on the defensive line. And then keep in mind, it's like I saw a lot of people like, oh, this Jets defense blows. I'm like, dude, Tavondre Sweat's out, Joseph Asai is out, Egnabari's out, D'Angelo Pond is out. Like, you have a lot of guys on defense that are out right now, and they're going against the backup Tampa Bay offense. It's like, you saw some good things out of the rookie, but not a lot of takeaways. But at least they were flying around making tackles, and of course, no interceptions. Yeah,
still no interceptions. Was hoping for maybe one of those. Yeah, the defense was fine. 2 drives. You didn't see anything too special from Glenn, but that's not going to be the case in the preseason. He's not going to unleash the defense on the third-string quarterback for Tampa and Connor Bazelak, and then Jalen Daniels, the UDFA out of Kansas. Browning didn't even play because he hurt his back during the joint practices. So it was down to the third and fourth-string quarterbacks for Tampa, and obviously all of their second and third teamers and so on and so forth. But they were fine. They held them to 2 drives, 2 punts, a 3-and-out, and then the second drive, 5 plays for just 12 yards, and Tampa punted. So the starting defense on the field twice, got off the field twice, did their job against the backups for Tampa. I think there would be a concern of legitimate criticism if Tampa went down there and scored twice on them, but the defense did their job. They're not going to throw any exotic blitzes. Todd Bowles, who blitzes as more than anybody, didn't even throw any exotic blitzes because just teams don't do that in the preseason. They looked fine. Bailey with the stunt on the Will McDonald play forced Will McDonald kind of close the door or close the gap, if you will, in terms of the sack. He also had a pressure on 8 snaps. It's 8 snaps to David Bailey. See more out of him over the next couple of weeks here. Good to see Will McDonald get in the column with a sack. Obviously somebody I think a lot of Jet fans keep close eye on him this year on what he brings to the table after a rough year last year. If he can have a bounce back season on top of what you get,
and picking up his option too.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought the defense was fine. My 2 big observations were, A.Z. Thomas was starting over Nashawn Wright, and Cisco is still starting next to Minka.
Yep.
I just don't get it. I still think it should be Belton. I think Belton's been better this summer, but there clearly seems to be something with this coaching staff that likes Cisco. For whatever reason, they seem to like him.
He always seems slow. He always seems out of position. He's taking bad angles. And
he can't do anything. He can't tackle, and he's terrible in coverage. And that was one thing with Cisco a few years ago. He was one of the better ball hawking corners in the NFL, 22 and 23. He had 2 really good years back to back. And in 24 was bad, but a lot of it was blamed on the poor coaching staff. Nielsen, the defensive coordinator in Jacksonville, they blew up that staff. Everybody on Jacksonville on that defense took a step back. So the hope was last year it was a coaching thing. He came in here, even prior to the torn pec, he was awful.
Yep.
So we're getting to the point with Cisco where his rookie year, he didn't do a whole lot. He had 2 really good years and he's had 2 really bad years. The bad and the good have kind of been even. We're at the point where we're getting further and further away from the good years of Cisco, where those are starting to become the outlier. And I just think Dane Belton gives you a lot of what this Jets team needs. He's a playmaker in the secondary. He can play the box, solid in coverage, and he's really good against the run. The Jets need all 3 of those things. Cisco, he's lost in coverage, and he's not a good tackler. He had a career-worst season last year from a tackling standpoint.
But also, which is surprising to me, is Malachi Moore's not really standing out either. Like, Malachi Moore, all the hype around him last year. Last year, he wasn't good. He was average at best, probably a little bit below average. And this camp, he's been quiet too, where it's like that would you figure if Aaron Glenn's this magician on defense, I can get a lot out of his guys and make them improve and show us some things. Moore seems like he has a long way to go. So you figure if Belton's that guy, maybe Cisco's your backup. Like, I don't know. It seems like if you're looking at positions of need, safety could be one where you may want to get some upgrades when they do cuts, the final cuts for the teams. And then you look at the linebacker position. To me is still interesting because I think they're trying to hype guys up, but I'm like, I'm not so sure I saw the same thing everybody else saw. Like you had Michael Walker, you had McCrary Ball, Malinois. It's like, all right, are you really impressed? Like in the preseason games, these guys should be heat-seeking missiles, lighting people up and blowing up plays. Did you really see that?
No, there wasn't a ton from the linebacker group. I actually think Michael Walker and Kiko Malinois have had pretty solid camps, but they didn't really flash in the game, and you were hoping to see one of them flash.
Exactly.
And I look at this third linebacker as still a area of improvement. We talk so much about backup quarterback. I still look at Jermaine Pratt, Bobby Okereke, Matt Milano, any of those three guys, bring them in. Third linebacker, I always go back to 2022 with Quan Alexander. That type of move deepens that linebacker room, gives you depth behind DeMario Davis, Jamie Sherwood. In the event that Sherwood's having a tough season and last year's struggles carry over, you have a third linebacker there that can then slot in and potentially take over for him if that worst case scenario pops up. But even if you get to the point of DeMario Davis or Jamie Sherwood get banged up for a week or two, you fully trust Okereke or any of these other free agent linebackers out there more than Malinois or Michael Walker. Marcelino McCrary Ball, he always is flying around. He brings a ton of speed, but he's more just a special teamer. He's not a guy that you look at being your third linebacker.
Yep. And then you mentioned AZ Thomas, which I'm rooting for him big time, man. I like him as a player. He missed time last year due to injury, but he's competing with Nashawn Wright. But it seems like Glenn likes him a lot too, where it's like big, tall, physical corner, kind of learning on the job, which you don't mind. Like with a young player like that, if he has a lot of potential, I don't mind him learning on the job because you figure the defensive line is going to be better. The pass rush should be better. They're not going to be sitting on an island for 8 seconds. They should, if he could hold his own for a little bit and figure it out, like I'm willing to endure that. You have Brand Stevens on the other side. So the secondary is interesting, but just due to injuries at this point. But we'll see what happens this week. But I think Aaron Glenn really wants AZ Thomas to win the job.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think he is right now. And I think you look at AZ Thomas, I just think he's better than Wright. And I like the Wright signing just because he gives you a level of playmaking in that secondary that the Jets desperately needed and severely lacked last year.
Yep.
But Wright is one of those, he'll rack up interceptions, but he gets burnt a ton. I think he was upwards over to 700 yards allowed last year. He was I think in the top 5 among quarterbacks and yards allowed. That all got covered up because he gives you the 5 interceptions. He is very boom or bust. AZ Thomas is more of that legitimate lockdown corner. That just raises the floor, in my opinion.
No, 100%. So you look at, offense, defense, special teams, the kicking battle continues. Cade York, Jason Sanders. That one kick, I swear to God, I thought Cade York missed it.
Same. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there. It's funny. I was talking to my brother, and he was joking that he was going to miss it. And I'm like, 38 yards. It's inside 40. It's just outside of chip shot range. 38 yards. You should be able to hit that. And I see it go over, and I'm like, oh my God, he missed it. And all of a sudden, I see the refs saying it's good, and I was stunned. And they showed the other angle too, the angle of behind, from the kicker's perspective, and it still looked off. So yeah, they need ABS for the kickers, AFS, automated field goal system.
The one interesting player on special teams to me again this year is Jamal Pritchett, who his instant energy, he's explosive, he's dynamic. Again, you have Isaiah Williams. I understand that, but man, it's like if you ever wanted to platoon them or something or figure it out, Pritchett just needs the ball in his hands. And this is another guy they didn't use last year either, which is didn't make any sense to me. But dude, it's it seems like you have something with him. But again, the Jets for the first time are stacked on special teams. But I like the way he plays the game. I know he caught 1 or 2 passes in the game, but interesting player, man.
Yeah, he's got very quiet feet. He's very shifty. He makes guys miss very easily. He's tough to bring down with the ball in his hand. Every time he's returned punts and kicks in the preseason, going back to last year, there's always positives you take from it. I mean, he had the 19-yard punt return, made a few guys miss, got it out to near midfield. And he had the one good kickoff return, too, that got it out up past the 30-yard line, up to the 32. So, yeah, he's always been a guy I've always liked. Yeah, exactly. Smooth. He's shifty. He's quick. And I think he gives you more, too, from a wide receiver standpoint than Arian Smith does. Because he showcased in the limited opportunities he got, He can make some plays from a receiving standpoint, plus what he gives you as a returner. I just wish he was, I think his path would have to be carving out a role as a gunner. And I just don't see that. But yeah, too small, more so a receiver returner. But I've always liked Pritchett going back to last year. And I thought he should have made the team over Gibson last year. And we all did. We all talked about that last year too.
Two more players we didn't mention. I forgot. One of the biggest stories of the game. Unfortunately, he's hurt though today.
Maury Bamba.
Maury Bamba, which was like, who is this guy and where did he come from? Because you have like players you want to watch during the game. You saw him make his first play. Then he had the pass break up in the end zone. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I never heard of him before. And then he kept playing. He struggled a couple times, but I'm like, all right, this kid's got some juice in him. Like, this is interesting to watch. And of course, he gets hurt. But then it's like, how long is he going to be out? And did he do enough to secure a place on the team? Or is he a practice squad candidate? And corners are at a premium. So did he do enough to have other teams want him? So the Jets will be interested to see how they handle him.
Yeah. Very disappointing to see the injury pop up today with him. The knee injury was on the side field with the brace on.
Yeah.
Bamba Island, 4 pass breakups. 3 of those came in the first 10 snaps.
Yep.
And I think he finished with just 3 catches allowed for 3 catches allowed for 9 yards. And he also made a really nice play too as a gunner on one of the punts.
Tackle. Yep.
Yeah, special teams as well, which is always a telltale sign if a guy's out there on special teams after making some plays offensively or defensively that the Jets are like, let's see what he's got. He's probably worked in a little bit of special teams because that is, for a guy like Maury Bamba, heck, look at Arian Smith. That's his path to making the roster.
100%.
Is what he brings from a special team standpoint. Anything from a cornerback is a bonus, but if you could play special teams and you're that 56th, 57th, 58th guy trying to break the 53, special teams a lot of times what separates those final few moves. Unfortunately, with the injury, I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
There's always the roster gymnastics of maybe they place him on like IR so then they could keep him around and then that opens the door for somebody else. And, they always could do that. You see that all the time with roster gymnastics where you have the 53, some of these guys that are, then they place them on IR, or they'll cut some guys, but then they'll be able to get them back. Like I remember a few years ago, they did it with Morstead. They got rid of him, but there was no risk of them losing him for whatever reason it was. I'm not sure the exact logistics of it, but maybe they could work out something like that from a roster gymnastic standpoint where, I don't know, place him on IR, have him, keep him. I know, though, if you place him on IR, there is that, I think if you do it before cuts, if my memory serves correct, I could be off, then it could be shut down for the season. I don't know how that all exactly works, but I just think it's going to be tough if he only has 1 preseason game under his belt to stick around. But then again, and I was thinking about this watching the game, if Arian Smith gives you nothing as a wide receiver, why not keep Bamba around as your gunner potentially? And that maybe could open up the door for him, and Smith's the odd man out, but that's where we're getting hurt now, missing the next 2 preseason games. Yeah, it really hurts him because if he continued that's the path, and that's where, and he doesn't have the practices either to showcase himself. So it's a tough spot. I think ultimately he's cut. Maybe there's another team that picks him up, but we'll see. It is only just 1 game, so maybe if there's other corners out there that showcase themselves a little bit more. But yeah, I see some people in the chat. He's got a really cool background. He's a freak athlete. He actually started his younger life as just a track star. He didn't start playing football till later on in high school. He played cornerback during his senior year. Then he switched to track. He played track at a D3 school and then moved to a school in Florida before going to BYU in 2022, where he spent 4 years there. Didn't play a whole lot, but freak athlete. His 4.27 40, I think, would have been the fastest at the 40-yard dash this year at the combine. He wasn't at the combine. He did at the pro day, but he's an athletic freak. So
yeah, no, he's another guy I forgot to mention before was Jordan Clark. He had a really good camp last year. Jordan Clark is a safety, making a lot of plays. And then a guy that a lot of people want to write off was Braden McGregor. If you look at defensive line, they're actually applying pressure and look relentless. He kind of stuck out a little bit too. Again, he's got a lot of competition to make the team, but it's like he showed something where it's like, all right, we were looking for guys that stand out amongst a lot of guys running around. He was one of them.
Yeah, Jordan Clark flew around, looked really good. I'll throw another one out there too. Jarius Monroe has another guy that always plays well during the preseason, even going back to 24 last year.
Last year he was great.
Yeah, he was great. I think that Eagles game, he had like a few pass breakups and I think an interception, if I recall. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think that Eagles game in the preseason, the final game of the preseason, he was really, really good. He's always another one of those guys too in that safety room that fly around in the summer, but just numbers wise, it's tough to keep him around. Somebody that you can maybe, stick on the practice squad, which they've been able to do the last few years.
Well, Malachi Moore better get his ass in gear because he's not he's having a rough camp, man.
He's been awful, and he was playing into the third and fourth quarter, which is a bad look. And that one drive that they went down and scored on all of their third and fourth teamers, he was out there on the field for. Really bad look for Malachi Moore. Maybe.
So,
I mean, it's been between him and Arian Smith, the rookie class beyond day one last year is taking a hit, I guess, right?
Taking a hit for sure.
Yeah, because, they were both day three, actually. Day three is taking a hit. I mean, Barron's already a lost cause. Arian Smith's been terrible. Malachi Moore's having a really bad summer. And Maui Noah isn't necessarily somebody, too, that I think you view in a very positive light. So, first draft for Muji, I think you can maybe look at day three and just say he lit a few picks on fire.
Well, yeah, look at his overall first year in general with his free agency class. His free agent class wasn't good either. That was a complete disaster, too. So, it's like, but he made up for it with really good trades. And then this year's draft, and he's learning on the job. He's getting help by Spielman, whatever else. So, first preseason game is in the books. Again, you saw some good, you saw some bad. They lost. Don't care about that. But now it's like going into Friday night, like you want to see a lot of improvement. You want to see much better offense. You want to see what guys are back, like what happens with Gino. Defensively, can they get an interception and be nice? But it's a weird time with Gino being hurt, dude. Because now I'm like, what do you? It's just. I don't know, man. It just makes you uncomfortable now. It's like you hope Klubnik can do something, but this is why you wanted that veteran quarterback all throughout the offseason.
Yeah, and we're at the point now, too, with a veteran where it's going to be tough for them to learn the system and be ready to go right away. Unless if it's that
you still got a month, man.
They've got some time if they go out and bring one in now, but I'm saying if they let the rest of these 2 weeks of camp go, preseason go, and then they sign one after the 53, after the final cuts, then the 53 comes out, then they sign one where you only have a week out. That's where you get some of those concerns of, are they ready to go early in the season? Unless if it's that Dalton type where they've already, he's already had the cross paths with Wright going back to Carolina.
What pisses you off about that is they could have made the trade. Like the guys they want to get now, they could have gotten the offseason without giving up compensation or waiting until late August.
But that was the whole thing. Where'd the plan go? The plan was what's the plan? What am I talking about? Plan? There's never a plan with this team.
The quarterback, at least.
Especially, definitely. I mean, there clearly wasn't a plan for Klubnik on Friday. The plan was 2 veterans, Klubnik, similar to, we say it so many times, what the Giants did a year ago. Not exactly apples to apples because Klubnik's not a first-round pick, but a rookie and 2 veterans. And you have Zappy, who they signed to a futures back in the early part of the offseason, Cook, Gino, and Klubnik. That's not anywhere, I think, where we thought we were headed.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's like I'll let it go. I don't want to keep dwelling on this Klubnik thing, and though it's pissing me off to no end. But it's like the media game that passed today too. Like, to my question would have been like, now they had all weekend to think about it. Can you explain the reason why Klubnik only played so little with any kind of logic behind it? And then what's the expectation now with a banged up Gino? What is he going to do on Friday night? Like, that's a fair question to ask. Like, it's fucking like, it's just, these are things, and it's just, I don't know.
Something I've noticed, and I've actually praised Glenn for the way he's handled the media so far in year 2. Something I've noticed, though, which is a bad thing if things go wrong this year, just talking about, asking about Klubnik, he is using the I got to watch the tape line a lot more than he did last year. And he used it a lot last year, but I don't remember him using it during camp. He's got to watch the tape from practice. He's done that like 5 times. Oh, what did you see out of Bailey today? Anybody with 2 eyeballs would say, he was great. I got to watch the tape. He's done that a ton. And it's practice. Watch the tape.
Yeah, I think he realized he over talked last year, and then we all remembered everything he said, and it blew up in his face. So now he thinks less is more, where he's buying himself more room. But
One line though that doesn't work in this town. Watch the tape.
It's solid.
Yeah, solid gaze. Gaze would always be. His nose would be
so now
deep into that paper on the sideline.
So now Job is going to try to flex. Tyson, you were mad at me for not reacting strongly to Sweat being out. And look, 1 week passes and he's now on the field. Sometimes just wait. Okay, he's on the field this week, and now he's got a couple weeks to get in shape, learn defense, and make an impact. And hopefully that's the case. Should we not? You're probably not. You weren't worried about Sadiq either, who's not even practicing yet and hasn't been in the OTAs. Not worried about him. You're probably not worried about Pons either, who hasn't practiced either and missing preseason games. Sometimes just wait, Bubs. Just wait.
Well, that was I take accountability for that call. After watching the tape, not an 8 out of 10.
Thank you.
I think that's what I gave it, right?
Yeah, have a little patience and positivity. That's right. That's me. And the funny thing is, like, we are patient. We are positive, but we can't be complete fanboys. Like, oh, everything is great. Cade Klubnik is clearly back up too. He looked incredible. He's the future of the franchise. Like, you got to at least be honest and like ask the honest questions here. Like, what are we doing? And the thing is, you worry about it with a guy like Sweat because of his size, the injury, re-irritating it, and then learning the defense and learning his teammates and everything else. Like, there's a process to all this. Not like, oh, he's good, he's back now, everything's great. It's just, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Does he? I guess he. So now Java clearly wants to fight with me tonight, which is fine. I'm always ready for these conversations. So we'll bring on. What's up, man? How you doing?
Though, I must say it is funny with the. It's just I always not that you want to be negative all the time, but I always find it. Oh, you're being too critical of the Klubnik thing, or give this team a chance this year. Like, it's hard to be optimistic coming off a 3-win season. You're allowed to be,
But the thing is, it's like the problem that the people have is we've been hit with the dumb stick for 15 fucking years. Yeah. Like, they haven't made the playoffs. They've given us no chance to believe in them, no chance to trust in them. They've given us nothing year after year. And this coaching staff started the same way last year, where we first guess problems, like backup quarterback. We first guessed it. Here we are. So it's like when it happens in practice and you hear the same line, what do you want me to lie, ignore it? But you know what? I want to get subscribers today. Let me lie and say everything is great. Let me ignore my instinct and say, you know what? I think Aaron Glenn's a genius. I think Cade Klubnik should not only play a quarter this week too. Just because that's what I want you to hear. Like, I can't do that, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Even the end of the half, I think Glenn, the timeouts at the end of the half were a little questionable too. And I don't want to come across way too negative, but again, the coach doesn't. There's just those little things throughout these games with this coach that we'll see what happens.
Sorry for cutting you off, man. We had to just get that out of our system.
No problem. You guys are venting. It's fine.
This is only one preseason game.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine if they get blown out by Tennessee.
Game with very little starter action, and we're all saying this stuff. I mean, looking at this, I think what I'm really fascinated more by anything after watching that game is watching fans' reactions, because it's like it's so oversized, and I understand why. Every year you come in with hope and stuff, but you get people like the big one is Bailey is a big one, and you can tell all the people that wanted Bain or Reese, because it's like he's a bust. He didn't do anything. Yep. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, the guy had 8 snaps. That's not exactly a whole game. And then they're saying, well, Arvell Reese had 1 tackle and 1 assist for the Giants. It was okay. It wasn't that great.
Yep.
Bain didn't really do anything. It's a preseason game, guy. You're not going to see a lot. And you can say, well, she was against second team, whatever, so you should have gotten 4 sacks and 8 snaps. Yep. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think you saw a glimpse of Bailey, though, where you saw that explosive, that step. You're like, all right, you could see potential there. We're like, all right, this is what we've heard about in camp, and that's what we're seeing on the game.
Yeah. And I mean, watching the whole thing, and it's like, guys, it's the first preseason game. They didn't play the starters that much. You can't take too much out of it. I mean, the things, you can see things there. We didn't see Mitchell. Where the hell was he? He was nowhere.
Nope.
That was an interesting one. He's not hurt, but he didn't do anything. All the players, the things that you're not seeing are more important, I think, than the things you did see. Yeah. Cisco looked like garbage. I can't. Oh, yeah, he got an interception in practice. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
throw sailed and he caught it. I mean, we've got all these issues. There's a lot of issues here. And one of the things that concerns me, like you guys, I don't understand why Glenn pulled Klubnik. Or rather, I do know why. Because he's a typical defensive coach, and they play afraid. This is what Salah does. Glenn has an opportunity here by letting starters play. They can really be ready when they go into the season, and they'll wipe the shit out of the Titans because Salah does not play as starters in any kind of numbers in pre.
Yeah, but then doesn't if Frank Reich is the CEO of the offense and is his Kate Klubnik, it's his guy because they trade up to get him, wouldn't he say, hey, listen, man, we need more than 2 series. Let's give him some more playing time? Because that's what's more concerning to me. Like, as Frank Reich signed off and do, like, you know what, this works for me. That's where it gets. It just seems odd to me, man. Where
I don't know what happened. I mean, my guess would be that it was Glenn. It wasn't so much, but I may be wrong. That Reich wasn't the one saying don't play him.
It's so weird
because these guys. The other thing about them, they're players. They understand that. They understand the value of preseason. When they played, players played preseason a lot more. Yep. I mean, it's not like even when it was back in the day when all the starters played all the preseason games.
Yeah, but it's not like Kate Klubnik was facing the Tampa Bay starters. He was facing their second string to begin with, and then the third stringer. So it wasn't like you're throwing them to the dogs.
There's a theory about that I don't hold by, which is that's dangerous because you got guys that are desperate to make the team and they're going to do something stupid to try to make a name for themselves and hurt them.
You know what bothers me though? This is what bothers me, and now you got me started again. The problem I have is you can't earn playing time in practice because you're not getting hit in practice. You're getting touched. You have no fear of getting lit up. If you get lit up in a game, how do you take the hit? How do you recover from it? How do you handle adversity? How do you handle pressure? Now you find that out by playing in a game.
If you've ever watched, watch what happens when a quarterback's been injured and they come back in the game, right? Now they've been practicing. Yep. And they come back in there and you can see it. They get happy feet because they have not been under that pressure.
100%.
When you've got a 350-pound monster about ready to slam you into the turf, that's not a very pleasant sight. I mean, anybody, it's rational. You lose, so you have to be there. And that's the thing. I agree totally. I mean, I think with Klubnik, but I think that was their natural reaction. Some were saying, well, Gino was hurt, so they're worried about if Klubnik gets hurt, then we don't have a quarterback.
You can't coach scared.
You can't. No, you can't. And that's the thing. And it is really true. I mean, if you look at it, the other rookie quarterbacks, they got a lot of time out there. And look at who their head coaches are. They're all offensive head coaches. And offensive head coaches don't think the same way defensive ones do. There's a conservatism there that's always driven me nuts.
But doesn't, and like, if you're thinking, this is where I started really going down like my rabbit hole. I'm like, all right, if they're handling Klubnik like this, which is after 1 week a little bit debatable, I'm like, imagine giving this guy a first-round pick. What he's going to do with him like next year? I'm like, this is like, that's where it's like, all right, this is kind of his first test because they blew with Justin Fields last year. Tyrod Taylor was a veteran. Brady Cook was terrible. So, all right, fine. This is your first developmental quarterback that you're catering, you're nurturing, you're developing, you're mentoring, and letting him play. Your early intro to this is not encouraging, which you can make up for it this weekend. But then I'm thinking about what about next year with the first-round pick?
Yeah, I mean, the problem comes in here. I mean, and obviously, my opinion has always been is that, with a quarterback, I don't even think first-round guys that are picked in the first round of the draft are necessarily ready to start. I think, I was kind of surprised that the Raiders are probably not going to start Mendoza because I figured that would be a natural that they would do that. Yep. I don't even think he was ready, to be honest with you. Give him a chance, let him watch the game, get into the game, let him do things, and then let him, if later on, if they look good, get him in the game. Because again, too many quarterbacks have been rushed in and he get killed.
I agree.
There's a bunch there. The other thing is when you saw a lot of times with some of the offensive coordinators, you get a rookie in the first round, and they're automatically throwing their whole bloody playbook at him. Someone was commenting on the radio, and I thought it was a very good comment, that you can't throw the whole playbook. And they basically said that that's what LaFleur did with Wilson. Now, Wilson I'm not saying he was a great quarterback, but you know what? LaFleur is one of these idea guys with all these great plays. And he worked well. He made work in L.A. because you had Matt Stafford there who's seen everything under the sun. But you've got a rookie who's come out of a college system that probably was a spread offense. Yeah. And you're throwing all these sophisticated looks at him. And one of the things I will say is that Reich, and again, it's a preseason game. They never use full offenses anyhow. But he made it where he made him look good out there. where he put him in a thing to succeed.
Right.
He didn't test him. He did not try anything
But
exotic.
they had a day. Gino was hurt on Wednesday. So they knew Thursday that, all right, we got to pivot on our plan. We can change. Like, it's like, wait, they had their 2 starter series. Okay, fine. We got to pivot now and adjust because now we have an opportunity to give Cade more reps and whatever else. So add 2 more series into it. It's not like
like I said, I mean, they could have let him play the whole half. And then Glenn's explanation, we wanted to give him all equal time. What the hell are you doing? You've got a guy that you drafted. Okay, they drafted him in the 4th round, agreed, but he's still a quarterback. He's still better than what you got, right?
Yep.
And they're already looking like they're heading for him being the number 2 quarterback. If that's the case, you better get him experience. And what the hell is this with equal time? Equal time for Brady Cook?
He's
for
terrible.
Zappy? Let him play the half, and then the other guys can take the 3rd and 4th quarter. I don't care. And who cares about the 4th quarter? By the 3rd quarter, I turned it off after it because it was just not worth watching. There wasn't much in there. But the point is, you could have done that, and it's like that. It bothered me. I mean, a lot of people were saying, "Don't make such a big deal. It's the first game." Blah blah blah. Okay, but you know what? Let's see what happens the next one. Because even if Geno Smith is not playing in the 2nd game, then they should let Klubnik play at least the half because it's valuable game experience. I wouldn't
even play it with Geno. Like Bub said before, with Geno on a banged up ankle, I let him sit this week and play him in the final preseason game.
Bingo. And I hope they play the starters at half, but they probably won't.
They probably won't.
I don't know if the Giants are even going to play the starters. It'd be fun if they did, but I mean, you've got to give them game experience. This is the thing, and you've got to have starters. We've got a team that's significantly new people. I mean, the offensive line, fortunately, they played together before. So this isn't like past years were like salad. You remember when he had them playing musical chairs?
Yep. Kept rotating left side, right side.
They were playing they thought this was really clever. And they came together in the start of the season, and they look like an uncoordinated bunch of mess. They're not going to have that. So we've got that with the offensive line, but we've got enough new players that they need time together. They really do. The first team guys have to be out there. Just briefly, my other big concern, I am not happy with the middle of the field. They look like shit. They had a 3rd-string quarterback in there with Tampa, and he was throwing the ball right into the middle of the field. And
safety position and linebackers.
Nobody was there.
Nope.
Which means your linebackers, you don't have coverage from the linebackers, and the safeties weren't there either. And that's really concerning. I mean, they're going to kill you. Tight ends coming across the middle. We've always had trouble with that.
Yeah. Tight ends and running backs. They struggle
with
both.
This may be where if they can figure out who their safeties are, this may be where you have a 3 safety because I can't see the linebackers we have covering. That's worrisome because other teams will pick that up and pick you apart. So I mean, overall with the game, I'm not putting too much weight on it.
Nope.
I am deliberately saying, if somebody's having a good preseason, that's great. They're going to use that to determine them playing. I'm not going to sit there and say we're going to have a great season because you don't know until you get in the season. And I've seen some improvement. Like I said, I mean, it looks like Klubnik improved from everything I can tell from early on to OTAs through here, from what the beat writers have written and stuff. It looked like he really, really, has improved. But he's got a ways to go. He's not going to be a starting quarterback, as some people want to say. He's not. Give him a chance. Let him develop. And, if something happens and there's a game where it's a blowout, one way or the other. Now, maybe not if it's a blowout against the Jets, because if it's that bad, you don't want to put him out there. But let's say the Jets happened by some fate, which hasn't happened in how many years? The Jets are blowing out the other team.
What is this? What is this foreign concept you're talking about?
Well, I was trying to think of the last time. There was a New England game a while ago they did that. But I mean, when was the last time the Jets had a blowout where they consider a blowout winning 16-13 on a bunch of field goals? That's a Jets blowout.
I think the Rodgers-Patriots game was probably the last one, right?
Yeah,
they won by a bunch.
And then that was Drake May came in towards the end of that game, actually, for the New England.
But
so they
if you got a case where the Jets are winning, where they're up by a lot, and you put him out there for a bit, fine. And maybe if they think at the end of the season the kid's ready, I mean, unless he has he learns fast, and all of a sudden they're looking and saying it's week 8, and they think he looks really good. As
Yeah,
long
but, I
as
mean,
the
but-
caveat is though, if he goes out there and he starts looking bad, you pull him.
Yep. Well,
You
that's
don't
the
pull
problem you have
Zach
now is
Wilson.
like it seemed like if he was lighting up training camp, we would all know about it. And even Connor
Yeah.
Hughes hinted towards it, whereas like, you know what, he had some concerns in camp and he actually showed him some things in the game where it's like, all right, he's progressed a little bit, but like you said, he's got a ways to go. So it's like, you know, he's a work in progress, man. And that's why he can't be a backup quarterback. He just can't.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, even if they kept him, let's say they decided he was a backup, and I agree with you. I am really in that position where he's not somebody that's going to come out there and make something of a good account of himself, not against starting defenses, not against good teams. He'd get killed. And I think we need somebody out there. Hopefully we can pick up somebody from the cut wire. But the other thing is that they decide to keep him as 2 and you put him out there and he's having trouble, you get him the hell out of there. You do not do a Zach Wilson. He is not Zach Wilson. You don't have Woody Johnson saying Zach Wilson's got to play. He was a fourth round, QB. He's a project.
100%.
You can get him out of there and not permanently damage him if it goes bad out there. You've got somebody behind him who's not Bailey Zappi or Cook.
Well, thank you for calling him, man. I think I have a fight in the studio coming up, so I got.
I'm waiting to see this one. I think I know who it is. I'm waiting to see.
have a good night, man.
Take care.
How are we going?
You know, it's funny. So Javid talked some shit in the chat. So what he did was he went into the garage. He did a bunch of curls and push-ups and put a tank top on. So now this is trying to intimidate me now. Like that's gonna phase me. But this is what he does.
Why would I try to intimidate you?
This is what you're trying to do. You want to defend yourself by flexing on. That's all right. I see how you're rolling now. It's fine.
I'm trying to intimidate the guy who posts MMA stuff nonstop. Yeah, I'm that dumb.
Listen, man. I'm just my observations.
I don't want any smoke. This is you twisting things again.
It's not me twisting, Bubs. What do you think? Do you think he wore a tank top on purpose? Bubs, what do you think?
Maybe. I mean, make
not to fight. I'm not here to fight.
Bring the physical presence a little bit more with the takes.
To try to reiterate his stance, like how strong his stance really is.
Yeah.
It's the summer, man. It's hot.
So what are your thoughts? So you're not worried about Club Nick. You're not really worried about anything. You think the Jets are on pace. They're on track.
This is what I'm saying. You're not even letting me speak. You're just throwing. I never even said I thought the Jets were on track. My take wasn't that. I never even said that I thought everything on track. I just said I want to wait and see what happens.
That's a Steve take right there.
No, I mean, come on. Every offseason, angry, happy, hopeful, angry, hopeful. I'm just gonna wait and see, and probably be angry when we watch those games. That's how I feel.
Okay, so we'll start with Breece Hall. Based on his injury, would you go out and sign another running back just for like training camp legs?
No, I feel like we have a lot of running backs. No,
you wouldn't bring in like another like legit running back in? You're happy with what was his name? Sam Scott. What was his name, Bubs?
What?
Sam Scott and Chip Trainum.
I mean,
Trainum used to play linebacker. Actually,
it seems like they like Kenny at running back, and he's been doing okay.
I like him, but he's also gets hurt all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not going to last 2 minutes, but at least he's not going to play much. I think this would be I hope Breece doesn't miss time, but if he does, maybe Braylon can actually get some trade value because.
Wait, what?
Wait, Braylon?
Yes, Braylon.
Trade value?
Well, I mean, you don't have to trade him this year, but next offseason he'll be entering a contract year. So if there's a team that wants to move a pick for him, why not? If you just paid Breece.
That's an interesting one. That's fair.
Yeah. I thought you meant trade Braylon now.
That's what I thought you meant too.
Yeah. Oh no. I meant.
And I could. It's a big year for Braylon. I mean, he's got to prove it because he had year one. He got off to the quick start. He had that really big game against Tennessee, and then obviously the wheels fell off of that 24 team. And as the wheels fell off, and they started to just go away from the run as that year went on. Bring in Devontae, it was 40 passes a game from Rodgers, all that stuff. Like the run game as a whole took a step back, and then last year with the injury, year 3 is huge because you do bring up a good point. He is going to contract year. If he has a down year this year or kind of an underwhelming season, it's a big year for Braylon.
Yeah.
So what are some of your hot takes from the game? Let's hear your Your takes that are going to impress us.
It's not a take, but I'm more of a question.
Oh boy.
Do you think we won't see Cooper much at all this year? Because one thing I really stood out to me, I know they said we'd use Williams more in like the passing game, but they didn't use him in any of the returns. And maybe it's preseason, but if he's not really a returner at all, and you're just trusting him to be the full-on wide receiver 3, then that kind of leaves Cooper really as just a 4 wide receiver set guy, or like when someone is getting a break. Because I did notice that when they started the game with Pritchett as the punt returner, and on the kick.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
So maybe they're trying to preserve Williams in the preseason. Like we know you're a Pro Bowl returner. Well, it's not going to waste your time doing that. Let Pritchett audition to be like the backup. Maybe they're kind of doing it that way.
Maybe I that was just something that interested me, and I'd want to see if that's like actually a thing.
This guy. Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Oh, my mom called me. I can't control that.
Mom, the meatloaf.
I thought that was you calling for some scouting on the tight ends.
Oh my God,
man, this guy he's doing this on purpose, like to show how popular he is.
Why would I have my mom calling me on purpose?
Well, you better answer. Maybe it's important. Maybe it's something like emergency or something.
It's not important.
Damn, he's just blowing up his mom right now for us.
No, I'll call her back.
You sent his mom the voicemail.
That's commitment to the Jets. That's commitment. There's not many people out there that would deny their mom to talk about a football team that hasn't made the playoffs in 15 years.
That's true.
I respect the commitment.
Thank you. But that is something that I did notice. I didn't say I have no concerns. It's just I'm just gonna wait and see. Like I think like some of the things I agree, Tyson. I watched your Klubnik video. I agree with some of your concerns. I understand, especially if we go to the next preseason game and he barely plays or plays a quarter, doesn't get much time. I'm just I'm trying to just woosah, get some peace and quiet before the Jets ruin my life.
Peace. You want peace when you're watching this team?
I don't want to have high blood pressure in the preseason. Like,
Bubs,
am I not allowed to feel that way?
Wait, but let's ask Bubs. But see, Bubs is the neutral party here because I don't agree with you, Bubs. Do you agree with this peace and calm when you're evaluating the preseason games?
It's not positivity. It's just
peace and calm.
I
struggle with peace and calm anytime I watch.
Basically, he's ignoring the concerns of frustration, trying to blow them off.
I'm not ignoring the concerns. See that you. Why you stop twisting my words?
That's what it seems like to me. Because how do you have peace
with the Tysonized version?
No, but how do you have peace when in the back of your head it's festering there? You know it's there. You're just trying to ignore it.
I'm just not angry yet.
I'm not angry. I'm concerned.
Oh, this is a strong concern.
But see, because somebody's got to point these things out. I can't be like, "Whoa, Kate Klubnik's a genius and Aaron Glenn's great and they're handling everything perfect."
I'm not one to be super over the top about his performance. I thought his best play. It's actually funny. Before the game, my brothers asked me what I wanted to see from Klubnik, and I was saying, just make good decisions, don't get Garrett Wilson killed, and that throw. I literally was like, no, don't. When I saw Garrett go up for it, I was like, oh my God. No, I'm not. I wasn't like in love with Klubnik's performance. I'm not one of the people telling you he's the next Tom Brady, all that stuff. I've always been, I'm still team draft a quarterback next year, no matter what he does. So, Gino, I hope you play all 17. That's where I'm at.
So, are you doing yoga now?
No, I did go to the gym though.
That's why.
So
he got his anger out in the gym. He came here all calm and just giving us these Steve-like answers.
Oh, stop! Why are you guys? I mean, there's nothing wrong. Hey, Carl Steve is a legend. I just, I don't know. My first show that I ever watched was the Steve Victory Monday after the Rams game. So
that broke me.
Well, it's funny because I saw somebody in the chat. I'm not sure who it was. Says Steve hasn't called in 2 years. And it's funny because he only calls in when the Jets win, and it feels like they haven't won in 2 years.
Or when he gets his interview, he wants to do his own private interviews.
Yeah, the interview or when the Jets win, the Jets don't win, so there's just no Steve calls.
He's busy now. He's busy dropping weight and working out.
I was gonna say, kind of.
Steve is a legend. Javed, what are you smoking?
I didn't say anything. I called him a legend, didn't I?
He said. I guess Armand's disputing. I think Steve's a legend too. He's a legendary caller.
I'm just saying Tyson wasn't complimenting me when he compared my takes to Steve's. So
I mean, because you know what this is, but this is a learning opportunity for Bubs too. Because Bubs has got to hold you accountable, and when it's bad, it's bad. He's just got to say it. You got to. We're one big happy family here
today. But I was going to say one thing I didn't love. If you want hear some concerns, the red zone inside the 10 like offense that we had that first drive where we stalled.
Nothing changed on that front.
I didn't like that at all. I think even one of the plays, Garrett Wilson didn't even run a route, and I don't understand how you could design a play where your best player, like they snap the ball and he just stands and looks at the quarterback, and then that's his route. I don't get that. That was not encouraging to see what we did in the red zone. I'll just say that.
But that could be preseason play calling. They don't want to because the one benefit the Jets have right now is the element of surprise where nobody knows what to expect out of Frank Reich and Aaron Glenn. So
the Garrett Wilson no route play, just burn it. Don't run it again.
Yeah, don't run that. Yeah,
that's their masterpiece.
You remember last year against the Falcons? I don't know why this just popped up in my head. Bad memory. The back-to-back slants that they ran with Mechie on like the 5-yard line, he dropped both of them.
Dropped both of them.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I'd rather see you run slants than have him just turn and stand and look at the quarterback. It was press coverage too. Like the guy is pressed up against Garrett, and then he snap it and he just turns and faces Klubnik. I don't understand it.
I just tuned in. Is Java getting roasted for bad takes?
A bad take is when you don't agree with Tyson. That's
so not true. I never. That's not true. We just call you out on. We want to make sure we just discuss them.
I'm just saying.
Bubs hears them. See what happens is Bub hears them and he has to process them and like this. But I know with you, when I hear them, I start getting like my nerves start getting like my arms start shaking. I'm like, I've heard that before.
I'm surprised you didn't ask me about the tight ends. That first play that was really schemed well. You know,
say a positive
play to Mason Taylor. You know,
there you go.
They got to do that more.
Leak him out. That's what they used to do with Kittle all the time. But if you said that on this show, then they say you don't know football and you're crazy. And then you make a whole Twitter thread breaking it down, and Tyson and PT don't even bother to check it.
Don't blame me for this, man. Listen,
you were part of the big. You and PT were both the part of the tight end take. The Kittle take. You guys missed.
You said Kittle wasn't a good tight end. I just kind of argued with you.
Doing it. All I said was Shanahan schemes him open, and you guys changed it to me saying he's not a good tight end. Bubs, this is what I'm saying. He twists my word. And then he tees it up to you so then you can just take what he said.
That's so not
I
true.
never said you watch the clip back. I never said Kittle wasn't a good tight end. I said he wasn't as good of a route runner.
That's not what the chat keeps telling me. The chat keeps bringing it up too.
That's because you keep retelling it for years as me saying Kittle was bad.
Bubs, what's your take on this?
Would you trade for George Kittle?
No.
I would.
I should say, would you?
Team, yes. Would I trade?
Would you take?
George Kittle?
No, yeah, I guess I'm not. I guess not. Like, would you actually trade for him? Would you want George Kittle on your football team or a player like George? Okay.
Yes, I said even when I talked about George Kittle, I said he was one of the best tight ends in the league after the catch. I said he's a great blocker. I didn't say Kittle was like a bum. I just thought Kelsey is better.
You just said Shanahan made him a better player. That's all.
What? Is that a crazy take?
No, I agree with you. I would never argue with you, man.
I
will say that play to Mason Taylor. So many teams do that. Never the Jets. That needs to happen more. That is one of the easiest automatic, and teams run it against the Jets all the time, and it always works. We have to run that more. Just put them in the flat, roll out. You have whoever. Well, in that case, Klubnik. If it's Gino, roll him out. So easy.
I think you could probably count on your two hands the amount of times last season where we just had
the Jets completed a pass.
Someone was just wide open, short pass, intermediate pass, just beautifully schemed. Yeah, and then especially timing wise, where how many times against us do we see the commentators like, oh, that's the perfect play to beat the coverage. We never call the perfect play to beat the coverage. It seems like our OCs have no clue what's coming.
We had a quarterback that couldn't throw too, which was a problem. Like between Fields and Brady Cook, they both couldn't throw football.
I mean, going back, probably
we don't call the perfect play to beat the coverage.
Yeah,
we call the perfect play for the coverage.
Last year, this year it's much different, and this is how you know. This is how you know Afram is your friend, because right now the chat is attacking you, and he's trying to change the topic. Like, oh, nice block by Rucker on the Braylon Allen run. Like anybody gives a shit at this point.
Afram's always been my guy.
Yep.
This is. I mean, even thinking about it, like the most creative OC we had going back has probably been Michael LaFleur in the last however many years, right? And even him, like sometimes his creativity, like I can't remember how many times he spammed the damn Braxton Berrios end around. It worked the first time, and it just became a staple for the next 10 years.
He did the same thing as Engstrom. He broke out the trick plays the worst possible time.
I remember one time it was a goal line play, and we lined up, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a Berrios end around." Oh, I remember the one where Zach didn't hand it off because he read Vita Vea in the gap.
You remember the remember the Vegas game when Garrett's elbow was bothering him and they had him throw the pass?
Yep.
In the Sunday night
Why
game.
do we see this is the I blame you too. You go down these rabbit holes of misery, the Jets' misery in the past, and they call me negative all the time. It's you guys doing this shit.
That one was funny because
remember this bad time? I didn't mention any of this.
The Bucks one was actually funny to me because that probably was like Zach's best.
I get blamed for negativity.
Yeah.
You too.
That
was surgical.
Yeah, and then Elijah Riley blew the coverage. That was the AB game, run off the field. Yeah, Elijah Riley, it was like the UDFA, I think, from Army, blew the coverage.
Every week Bubs does this. Bubs, you save it up every week to bring up a bad moment in Jets history. Every week.
That's
Javin, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Cade York is not staying long.
No, he's not. He's gonna be gone.
I agree.
See you later, man.
Is breaking away.
What's up, Neil? How you doing, man?
Good. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Just I've been listening to you for a long time, Tyler. I'll tell you that. And I didn't. When did you start doing call-in shows?
Oh shit, it's been probably since COVID.
No shit. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry about that. I try to catch as many guys as possible. I like your takes. You've been a little negative over the years. That's been my only turn off.
The Jets haven't won. They haven't been to playoffs in 15 years.
I know it's tough. I just want to share with you a couple of my thoughts on the game. Is this what the theme of the show is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Frank Reich is going to be a major, major difference for us as an OC this year. There's no two ways about it. Just the way, and again, we're not going to see anything in preseason because it's all vanilla plays. I mean, let's face it, we're not going to see much. Everything is basically vanilla on both sides of the ball. I think our offensive line is looking good. I would maybe try to get somebody. I think. What's your guys' thoughts on what we need to fill? With waiver claims. What areas? I say offensive line, interior, maybe add a linebacker.
Yep.
Although McCrary Ball looks a lot different this year. The guy's much more jacked. I think he's moving a lot better.
Yeah, he's fast.
He flies around.
Again, a little bit small. What happens if DeMario Davis goes down, guys? We're in trouble.
I agree.
Agree. It's really looking like the defense we had when Mosley went down and we just fell apart. Yep. I just hope that we don't get into that situation. Although I love Fitzpatrick, I think he's like a second lieutenant there on the defense.
Completely agree.
So at least we have two. I've been hankering for veteran leadership on this team. Every year I say the same thing. let's get Calais Campbell. Let's get somebody that could get in the huddle before a game and charge up the players
Completely agree.
instead of having a bunch of young guys with no leadership except relying on inferior coaching. And right now we have. I love the middle of the field. One thing I will say, we haven't seen Deshaun Wright at all, right? I mean, has he played at all in the preseason?
Not
or
much.
not?
But the middle field,
No.
you're wait, so opposite of Minka Fitzpatrick, you're not concerned about because it seems like Cisco isn't that good.
No,
Not
I don't
having-
want Cisco. To me, is an absolute bum. The
He's-
guy cannot cover. He can't tackle.
He doesn't do
What
anything
is he
wrong.
there for? He's slow, and honestly,
He's cheap.
I felt like why is his name? I think Stevens, right, is our corner there. What's his name?
Brandon Stevens.
Okay. Stevens gets beat on the long pass way too much. I think he was last in the league on long pass, giving up long passes, okay, and coverage.
Yep.
He's a very good tackler. We don't want to give up on him because we paid him a big contract. One thing he does well is tackle.
Yep.
Okay.
Physical.
Can we make him a box safety? I think we should move him as a box safety. Mix it around where he's look, I would like to have Deshaun Wright in one corner, either Pons if he develops. Pons could play corner, and then we have
Pons being hurt's not helping his cause either. He's missing so
Right.
much time, man. It's like you can't figure out where you want to play him because he's not playing at all.
right. Is he coming back this week or what?
I don't know. Doesn't seem like it.
Jesus
He's in
Christ!
practice since day one.
I know it's
He's missed the
crazy.
entire camp.
And I love him, man. I loved him.
Yeah.
He is a really. I think he could be a good corner for us. We need guys that turn the ball over. That's why this guy Wright, I was excited about getting him because he turns the ball over. Naturally, he's going to get burned a lot, but he's a long corner. He makes turnovers. We need guys on the field that punch the ball out. That's one thing I liked about McCrary Ball. He punched the ball out a couple times.
Yeah, he's physical.
DeMario is going to coach these kids up.
Yeah.
DeMario's like having a second coach in the linebacker room. And I think he's going to coach up these linebackers. I really think we should get another linebacker. What about that, guys? What about a linebacker?
Dude, linebacker, safety.
We need another Mike. We need a Mike.
I completely agree.
The
Especially if
safeties,
Sherwood
I think we
can
have talent. I think we have talent on the team that we could kind of do something on the safety. A safety is an interchangeable piece. I was all for taking back
Not Jamal Adams.
I was kind of like
He's
I
like a
saw him make
linebacker.
I saw him make a play the other day in the backfield. He could be a hybrid box safety linebacker. He's not. Look, he tackles well, and he knows how to get through the line of scrimmage to the backfield. He's not a good cover guy, but there's a guy that, again, maybe he's not as good as McCrary. But we just let's talk about Mike. What do we do on the Mike to back up the Mario? What do we do?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
Like that, everybody, get Bubs.
No, yeah, I mean they need an upgrade, whether that's Okereke, Pratt, Milano, a few of those names out there. I've seen Kenneth
Matt
Murray talk
Milano's
about-
not going to come to us
Yeah.
to be the backup. I don't believe he would
I
do
don't
that.
think so either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible. And he's also had a history of injuries, which is a bit of a concern. I've seen Kenneth Murray pass around. I want nothing to do with him. He stinks. The guy plays like he's got duct tape over his eyes. He's got no clue where he's going. He's one of those typical fall for the former first round pick trap. Hope he can get something out of him. But I would look towards the Okereke Pratt. Pratt's that typical. They're both good sideline to sideline speed guys, solid tacklers, good against the run. Just better than what you have, right? Veterans.
Right.
I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of Jet fans always bring up this comparison to 22 when they brought in Quan Alexander, where he came in, third linebacker, fit in perfectly. And you still have that possibility of Sherwood. And we talk about the coverage issues up the middle. Sherwood's part of that. He is terrible in coverage. That's his biggest weakness. You talk about if Sherwood kind of struggles like he did last year or continues those struggles last year, even though he's moving back into the will role at the linebacker spot, then you're really getting thin at that point. On top
Yeah.
of if one of those guys gets banged up for a week or two.
You can't have Sherwood as your backup in case DeMario goes down for whatever reason. I mean,
No.
we know DeMario is, the guy's been bulletproof, but again, any time. I mean, Mosley was bulletproof until he came to us, and then all of a sudden he
So is
got hurt.
Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
So, from that perspective, we definitely need a bigger linebacker. If we have to, if I am not moving Sherwood over to the Mike if DeMario goes down right away, we're going to get run all over the place. These guys cannot handle any kind of lineman coming into the second level. They're just overpowered. There's no way.
What would you do? What would you do at running back now? Brees is going to be out for a couple of weeks. Isaiah Davis is already out. Would you try to sign somebody else to get some training camp legs in here?
I don't want Nuagu. I don't want. We got to put Nuagu in bubble wrap because he's our weapon on kick returns. I mean, the guy's a premier kick returner. We know he gets hurt. He's not big, so he gets the shit kicked out of him. So I want to bubble wrap him as much as I want to bubble wrap anybody else on the team. And I can't believe that they play this guy till his wheels fall off. And they do that. They did that last year, I believe, also when he got hurt, right?
Yeah, and there's zero reason for him to even be getting all those running back reps in the third quarter of preseason game. He's never going to see the field as a running back in the regular season. He's the fourth running back. He's a special teamer. He's not everybody healthy. He's not even going to play a role as a running back. That's never been his. Throw Sam Scott and Trip Train him out there. Let them get all the reps.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be a couple. There's got to be a couple of backs out there.
Like Joe Mixon's out. There's a couple guys out there, but it's like
you don't want to pay anybody. These guys are just camp guys. I guess the guys we have now. Hey, look, we're not playing preseason to win games. We're playing preseasons to eat snaps, see what we have. I mean, I was totally disgusted that we didn't let Klubnik play at least a half. I mean, that was ridiculous. That's overthinking it. And, I watched, you saw what everybody else did. Drew Aller, Ty Simpson, all these guys played extensive snaps, and they all did very well. And Klubnik is the kind of guy that he's only going to get better, as he gets more snaps. He's going to gain confidence. And when the hell are we going to play him if not now? I mean, what are we doing? We got 2 more preseason games. We're not going to play him in the last game. If anything, we're going to play him a little bit because we don't want him to get hurt. But you can't, this was, Aaron Glenn, guys, I just can't. I got to tell you, man, he makes my stomach turn.
He doesn't make it easy, man. He doesn't.
He really doesn't. Even pocketing timeouts right before. I mean, God Almighty! I'm watching the clock go down. I'm like, what the f are you doing? I mean, it's the same shit. It's like he hasn't changed anything.
And he says he studies it too. He literally said he studied time management.
Oh my God.
And he hired somebody. He studied time management and he hired a guy to stand next to him to help him with his time management.
I'm concerned he just can't. We're all just concerned he's just bad at his job, but really concerned that he just cannot make the quick time management decisions because Saleh, for the life of him, couldn't do that either. How many times would we see Saleh take 2 timeouts with him in the halftime thinking he'd come out in the third quarter with 5 of them?
Well, one thing is for sure. Look, Woody neutered him, when he went in there asking to hire Wake Martindale. He said, fuck out of here. I'm paying you all this money. You want to hire another DC? You get out there. Yep. I mean, if I'm in Woody's position, I would have done the exact same thing. I would say, look, you're lucky you have your job. I'm going to put you in charge of the defense. You're going to call the plays. If your defense is not top 15, you're gone. Yep. You say you have superpowers on defense, I'm going to give you players. I mean, look, they did a lot in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. The roster right now, guys, I think this roster is even better than the year we took when Aaron Rodgers came in, when ESPN was calling us a top 5 roster. I think our roster's as good as that, if not better. What do you think?
It's much improved. Good mix of veterans, young guys, leaders, and playmakers. Legit playmakers, not guys we're going to try to overhype.
No,
I will say this to you. If it wasn't the Jets on the helmet, and if we just had a different helmet, there's no way anybody would not be picking us. Anybody that doesn't know, I mean, I'll give you a good example. the AFC roundtable. You watch that, guys, from
Yep,
time?
yep.
Okay. I noticed the Buffalo kid. What's his name? The Buffalo guy.
I know who you're talking about.
All right.
Dan
Anyway,
Mitchell.
they asked, Dan Mitchell. They asked him what he thinks the Jet record is going to be this year. He said, minimum 7 wins. He said they could be 9, 10, or an 11-win team. TD also, well, TD thought we were going to be great last year. But the thing is, guys, people outside of us, right now, we all have PTSD. We are so shot on this team. I've not been down. I watched this team last year, and I watched the Kotite year. Okay,
Yep.
it was worse, and I
Sure
mean,
was.
it was hard to be worse than the Kotite year, and really, we just did it. And I know that it's really, really hard for the guys out there. And I mean, I've been doing this 56 years, 57 years, okay? And I have not missed a single snap in preseason. I used to go to camp at Hofstra religiously. I play golf with these guys. I go to the Jet Golf Classic. I was sitting there I was telling Rich Kotite what to do at the Jet Golf Classic in the parking lot. I was like 35 years old. He looked at me like I was from outer space, okay? So and I calmed down a lot. I used to be nuts. I used to go to before the games, I would go to the hotel. I had guys signing I was in a parking lot on away games. The Tampa game, I was at the Tampa game when we had the touchdown, the throw with
So was
out
I. The
throw.
Wayne Quebec game. I was at the
Yes.
game. Yep.
Okay. I was at that game. Okay. I was in the parking lot before the game when they were loading on the bus with the 2 offensive linemen. Who was our offensive lineman at that time? The left tackle was, I forget his name. So I'm in the line. I'm 310 pounds at the time. I'm doing a 3-point stance. I'm going, I'm Warren Sapp right now. Let's go. How you gonna block me? I'm in the parking lot with these guys. They were cracking up. I get in my car with my buddy. I'm beeping the horn on the bus on the way there. I'm with Fireman Ed after the game. We were nuts, dude. And I want to tell you, that's how passionate I am about this team. I was heartbroken with Rodgers. Big mistake. I knew that was a mistake. When we got Justin Fields, I was on Jake's show, poo-poo. I said, this is worse than Zach Wilson. I said, are you kidding me? I said this, and then they're trying to make him a passer. I was like insane. I said, this is it. This season's going to be a waste. So I saw it coming. I feel this year, and again, Geno, we're going to protect Geno. And Frank Reich, I feel, is going to put him in a position where he's going to get, have these quick releases. We're going to see tight end screens. We're going to see Sadiq in the backfield and trips. I mean, we should be seeing these things, and we should be releasing the ball quick. And then when the defense comes up, go over the top and start taking our shots. Do you realize we haven't had a single pass into the end zone in 3 seasons? I don't think and last year for sure, guys, we have not thrown a ball on the fly into the end zone. I mean, I can count it in one fucking hand how many times we've thrown a ball into the end zone. And what could possibly happen when you do that? You get a PI.
I used to always say that.
You get a 40-yard pass. That's why I feel good that Geno, at least if it's 3rd and 8, chuck the ball down the field. Even if you underthrow a guy, we have the receivers down. We have guys that can catch the ball. And I will say without a doubt in my mind, this offense will outperform the defense this year. No doubt in my mind.
Well, you also have Frank Reich who actually call the plays too, and not the ultra conservative.
That's the point. I mean, we have had the most horrible offensive coordinators. There hasn't been a single one, and all of them are. And that's why I said when I saw the first play, Kate Klubnik made, and Klubnik is being coached correctly. I could see that Frank Reich is working with him, and you could see he's developing.
Yeah.
Am I right? I mean, you
Yes,
see it. You could just see it that the kid's calm. I mean, you look at the other quarterbacks, and you just know that he doesn't even talk to those two guys. I guarantee it. They're sitting there in the side, throwing to guys, and he's working with Klubnik, and I'm excited about it. I think, if I have, if, as far as the season goes, I can't say, I think we're going to win a lot more games than people think.
I think so too.
I just want to be in games, guys. We're going to be in games. That's the key. And coaching is going to be the difference between when you win these games, because realize something, aside from us, every game is decided by a score. Everybody's a one-score game. If you watch the what's that the thing where it shows every game? What do they call it?
Parcells always said that. Parcells always said 2 plays define a game.
Yes.
It comes down to always 2 plays.
And we've been so bad, it hasn't been the case with us. But the reality is, we're going to have games that it's going to be a field goal to a one-score game going down to the end of the game, and we'll have to see. Hopefully, Aaron Glenn relies more on Frank Reich. They're friends. I think Frank Reich is going to take this team have more say than people think, and that's what I'm hoping.
Neil, thanks for calling, man. This is a great call. Thanks for calling.
Guys, I appreciate the time. Enjoy, and we'll talk next week after the Pittsburgh game. We'll see
Absolutely.
what
Have a
happens.
great night.
You too, guys.
Later.
Have a good one.
That was a good call, man. I like that call.
Yeah. That was good.
That
Lots
was
of good
very
insight.
interesting. And he called me Tyler, I think. Tyler, or what the hell did he call me?
I think it was Tyler, yeah. The Brandon Stevens point was actually interesting because I remember going back to last year when they originally signed him. There were some conversations about him potentially being a safety. Now, I don't think they'll move him back now, but it was always an interesting thought at the time because he's very good against the run, but coverage-wise, there's some issues there. And he was better than expected last year, but still.
I'd like to see him with a legit defensive front with a pass rush and pressure on the quarterback. Again, I know he got beat deep a couple times, but he was also on the island with absolutely no pass rush whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we went from you figure how would you categorize Javid's call? As good, bad, or mediocre?
It was solid. Better than last week.
So above mediocre, or you say good?
Yeah, good, above average.
All right. So you got from Javid was above average. Then you have Neil was very good.
Neil was very.
So the next caller's got some pressure on them because you figure if you're going to follow that up, you got to be your A game. If you bring some Steve-like shit, it's going to be a problem, especially after last week. So you got to see how he builds on his performance. It's all about accountability here. We got to hold people accountable.
I'm under no pressure.
There's plenty of pressure.
Okay, and don't fall for his bullshit, Bubs. He's always trying to get you to say something.
You're on here for 2 minutes. You're already cursing at us.
I'm cursing at you. I just said the word bullshit.
You're cursing. You're getting Bubs all upset.
You've done worse than that. Hello, Armand. See, Armand always says hi.
Now he's saying hello to his fans.
I'm being cordial.
Yeah.
Some people are cordial. Some people are just
jerks.
Not cordial. Okay.
How'd you enjoy the game on Friday night?
Fine. I enjoyed it. I like you. I just don't understand why you don't let the guy play a quarter. I mean, a half.
Yeah.
Like I said to you, I anticipated Gino the first quarter, and then the next two would have went to Klubnik. So it had been 2 quarters. So I don't know. I didn't see any benefit of keeping them, You could have ran the ball more if you wanted to. Just, do something, give reps to this kid. He needs to know, because you need to give him reps with the first team just in case something like this happens, especially with Gino not going in, They protected him, which was good. He made some good. I think there was a miscommunication with Brees. Hey, Javid, with that,
definitely some miscommunication. But see, that's the whole thing.
Right, that's why you need reps.
And then the reactions after the game. And I think Jet fans are so either they're down on Gino or they just want Klubnik to succeed so badly. Like, oh, he played great. I'm like, all right, like it was encouraging. You saw some signs, but I'm like, I didn't walk away like, we got a quarterback in the future. Like this guy's a slam dunk backup.
No, I just think
that at all.
He's a development.
He's a work in
but
progress.
He has tools. He has tools. He can maneuver. You see him getting out of the pocket. he seems to be high IQ. He likes to study a film, and he likes to, how far he can go. I don't know. No one knows until you give him more time. Just
But
like,
what would he
if
have
you're
to
gonna
show
develop him-
you? But what
Go
would
ahead.
he have to show you? Say Friday night. I'm assuming Gino's not going to play. They're not going to put him with a hurt.
No, I wouldn't put him in at this point.
But what would he have to show you Friday night to say, you know what, he could be backup quarterback this year?
You got to drive the ball down the field. You got to he's got to hit multiple players. I think they just had him going to Garrett because he's probably the only one that that was going to get open and trust him, because it was a last minute thing that they put him in, so he wasn't really prepared as well.
That's not true.
Huh?
Last minute for who?
For Klubnik.
That's not true. They knew on Thursday.
Oh, based on what? But even Thursday, what has he got? 1 day?
Come on, dude.
Come on, let's be honest.
It's a vanilla game plan. You have 24 hours to
but
figure out how to
he's
use
only going to give it to the
work.
short. Just move it out. He's not going to pass it to 5 different guys. He's going to stick to one he's comfortable with.
Now the Jets
But
got
that's
to
what you're hearing there.
reinvent the wheel to find reps for the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean
Their
who
offense
knows?
is
What
so
do you get? 7
complicated.
throws, 8 throws. He needed another quarter. I would have gave him 3 quarters that day.
Kid Bubs, share your thoughts, man. Don't let Afram bully you.
Oh boy.
No, it's just the complicated offense.
Preseason.
That would be a Jet thing. The offense is so complex. It's this, 10-ring circus they got going here.
Yeah. But hey, last minute, I'd say this game. I would play him 3 quarters this game.
It wouldn't bother me one bit.
Then
We know
I
Zach.
they won't do it.
We know Brady.
You know what you got in the other 2.
They're terrible.
You know what you got with the other 2. Is about how long you're gonna. Yeah, I wouldn't play him with the 3rd and 4th string.
Yeah, but you play him the first, like this, almost like the first half into the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and you'd play the first team the first quarter, and then the rest would be the second team.
Yeah,
and get them out there, get them off the field with this 3rd and 4th strings. Then you risk him really getting injured, because who's going to protect them? You risk the chance of some guy making a mistake, and then you get some guy that wants to make the team. He's going to blast somebody. He's going to try to blast them.
Bubs, you got any questions for our special guest, Afram?
Yeah, okay, special guest. Man.
You're a special guest.
What, did you call me to come on?
No, I mean, we're treating you. We treat you special. And now he insults us.
You were going to say respect, but you changed your mind that last second.
We treat you with respect. We give you all this.
Bubs, what question would you like to ask? Because I don't know what he's looking for.
This is ridiculous.
Do they sign a veteran before week 1?
A quarterback?
Veteran what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, veteran quarterback. Yeah, my bad. They could be veterans in a lot of spots.
Yeah, I know. But if a quarterback right now, there's nobody out there, free agent wise, and I don't think they're going to trade for anyone and trade a draft pick. We'll see at the cuts, because that's the only time I think they'll make a move.
What date is the final cuts this year?
I think it's the 30th.
It's like a week before the season, right?
Yeah. I actually Googled it earlier. I think it's August
earlier
30th.
this year, no?
Yeah. August 30th, Sunday, August 30th, 6 p.m. So 2 weeks before the season.
Okay.
Yeah, because not to cut you off, but they always have those. It's in the new CBA, so they'll have the final roster cuts, and then they'll have like 2 to 3 days of practice, because that's always usually a good sign of who got cut and who didn't, because they have that. Yeah, if the guys are at practice that day, and if they're not, then that's usually a sign of them getting cut. And then they have the CBA, I think, built in 4 days at the end of the week. I think it's like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then that Monday's game week
Practice
for Tennessee.
starts,
Yeah,
they don't practice for those days. You're right.
Yeah, it's like the CBA thing, the 4 days off. So
from what I see, the only 2 teams that everyone's talking about is Philly and Pittsburgh cutting one of the quarterbacks.
Yep.
Right, and it would seem to be Rudolph and Dalton, right?
That's it. Because Tanner McKee serves no purpose, because Tanner McKee's got no experience.
No.
And you still got him on he's cheaper.
And Drew Aller and Will Howard, makes no
Right.
sense.
You know, you had Howard last year and then Allard this year. You're not going to just give up on them. They're
No.
young. So,
And
it's
obviously,
when they get cut.
Well, the
and
Raiders
I'm not know
too.
about this.
Isn't
If
the
they
Raiders
get
have
cut,
4?
what's that?
Don't the Raiders have 4 quarterbacks too? Because isn't that where Aiden O'Connell is?
yeah,
Because they have Mendoza, Cousins, Aiden O'Connell, and somebody else, don't they?
Jacob Clark, UDFA out of Missouri.
Yeah, he won't be.
But that means O'Connell could be on the way out too. That could be a guy that's available.
I'd take O'Connell.
I think O'Connell. It's better than this shit we have now.
And obviously Philly's not moving on from Cole Payton either.
Nope.
He's a lock. So
Now, if they get cut, anyone gets cut, and I don't know this. Is it a free for all, or is it based on what you could pick? You grab guys based on how you did last year.
Based on their veteran status too, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, like when
Yeah.
they put a guy in the waiver line, right? The teams that had the weakest schedule there's an order of who can grab the guy before.
But like I forget how this goes. But like some veterans based on their status become right away. Some go to waiver
Right.
wire.
some go to waivers, and if they clear, then they're free agents.
Yep.
Right,
Like
but
a
I mean, if you
like
like,
a
would it
trade
go by
team.
what the Jets did last year, by the second worst record?
Yeah.
They would get the Raiders would get the first chance at him, and then the Jets. So they have a
Yeah.
good chance of grabbing one of these two guys.
You know,
Yeah.
the one thing we didn't talk about because I didn't want to because I think this topic is stupid, but whatever. Like I wouldn't trade for JJ McCarthy and I wouldn't trade for Anthony Richardson.
No.
I don't want either one of those guys.
No,
Neither
No.
one of them. I have no interest at all.
no, it's just
It's
like having Klubnik. You're just working. You're developing.
If
a quarterback.
McCarthy can't succeed with
you-
Kevin O'Connell and an all-star
Yeah.
cast in Minnesota, he's
That's
going to come here and succeed?
Yeah, and then what happens when we want to hire Kevin O'Connell next year and JJ McCarthy's in the quarterback room? But yeah, no, the JJ McCarthy, Anthony Richardson thing makes no sense to me. If you were gonna bring those guys in, you bring them in back in March and say, hey, Anthony Richardson, JJ McCarthy, or one of those younger quarterbacks, because there was that route where they take what they did last year with Fields and maybe have them compete for the job and then hope that one of them emerges as the winner. And then maybe they turn into something. You're not bringing in JJ McCarthy as your backup.
No,
Or
absolutely not.
Richardson. No.
Nope, no thank you.
Not at this point. No, you
I
just
hate
need
that
to get
idea.
that veteran and then move somebody. You have somebody there just in case at this point.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know?
And the whole, I don't understand either the whole, well, get as many quarterbacks as possible. Because I've seen that debate. Get Richardson, get McCarthy, go get a veteran, have Klubnik. What are we going to have? 7 quarterbacks taken up on the 53-man roster?
That's
Hopefully one of them figures it out. Not all 7 are going to play this year. Like, we're not, to some of these people, they don't.
Desperation.
Yeah, it's just,
It's desperation.
get as many quarterbacks as possible. Hopefully one of them pan out. So what? We're going to start a new quarterback every single week. Here's your tryout. Anthony
did that
Richardson
last
this
year.
week. Yeah, and that panned out just.
No, but they should have did it last year while they were wasting our time watching Brady Cook shit.
Oh yeah, they should have. They should have. Heck, why didn't they give Hendon Hooker some run last year?
Well, I wanted to see it.
You know.
Or just get
Maybe
Hooker.
they just didn't see anything in him, and they just needed him as a body just in case.
Yeah, just a practice body. I would take him over Zappy at this point.
Sappy's terrible.
Now, if they go after a running back,
Mm-hmm. Najee Harris is a good name because he
no,
worked
but
out
I'm
the
saying
Giants today.
if they go, then it's. I think it's because Davis is hurt long term.
Yep.
You know,
That's a good point.
you
Yeah.
know,
Well, because you think about it, if Davis say Davis is out 3 more weeks, that's a problem. Because then you figure Brees is going to be out, Davis is going to be out. You have nobody around.
yeah.
No.
But I mean, these guys are going to sign. You know, someone's going to get cut eventually if that's the case. So does he sign like a Mixon sign and then all of a sudden gets cut? Let's say
They also probably want to go win the team.
right.
Yeah, they had Khalil Herbert last year for a little bit. Like that's like the lower level running back.
Yeah.
I just looked a little bit ago too when it was brought up in the chat. But like Chase Edmonds is another one.
No, he's
But
like
you bring
Chase
up a
Edmonds.
you bring up a good point though with Najee Harris. Like if Davis is out for a while, like let's say he's going to miss another 3 to 4 weeks. Let's say maybe he starts the season on IR. I don't know. Worst case scenario, Najee Harris could be more of that long-term fix, being more that running back 3, and then Chase Edmonds, like that type of name is kind of just the camp body, if you will.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think depending on who they target, might give you the hint of the severity of Davis's injury. If they want somebody to be the running back 3 and be a part of that room, that's probably not Harris. Experience. You want the lower level, just camp body. Well, that's probably like your Khalil Herberts of the world.
Yeah. We'll wait and see what they do. I mean, it's he does things. Imuji does things when we least expect it.
Well, you better open his fucking eyes because he's got like 3 or 4 holes on his team right now.
Stop the cursing.
I mean, it's the truth though. Okay. Like we all know right now, there's no backup quarterback on the team. Like you can cut.
No.
You can cut. Like if they cut Brady Cook today, would anybody sign him?
No.
Zappy?
No.
Would anybody be like, oh, Zappy looks phenomenal. Let me go sign him now. Absolutely not.
He'd be signed later if someone gets hurt.
Yeah, like when like everybody, we're teams like 1-9 and need like just guys.
It's like when we signed the guys that were
were
just
Zappy
hanging out when we kept getting hurt.
UFL?
Yeah,
UFL?
or Zappy would go to like Buffalo and be on the practice squad and not even be, he'd go to like one of these teams with an elite quarterback and just be a total afterthought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or he'll go to one of those.
Well, we're trying to count on him for something.
Yeah, exactly. We're actually
that kick, let's go to the kicker last thing.
Okay.
They didn't have a camera view facing up.
How is
on
that
the
possible? All NFL with how is it
They
possible?
usually do. They usually have a camera that faces up over
doesn't
the upright.
The ref stands at the pole and he looks up. That's what he does, right?
Yeah, and if it goes right over the pole, it's fair.
There's no way that shit went in.
But we don't know when it crossed.
Listen,
I see what you're saying. Almost like the first down marker where they have this
exactly
or the pylon
if
cam.
The ball is veering off. If it falls, if they look up and they see that ball over the upright at any given point, whether it's like an inch or so, it's fair. It's
yeah,
like
but listen, the fact that we have to analyze if we missed or not is not good enough.
But I'm saying they just.
I
just thought they would bring that up during the game because it was an interesting. Everyone was saying, "Wow, that looked way off," but.
The fact that he shanked a 38-yarder is not encouraging.
That's the only time I've seen when I've seen kicks that get kicked out and then they show the video and the ball is right over the upright.
Just
could be half.
What's funny is it looked like he shanked that kick.
Yeah.
And then he turned around today and went 5 of 8 in practice. He missed 3 left and 1 doinked off the upright. So I think York's little by little losing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's revealing his true colors.
Yeah.
Well.
Better off Sanders. He's got the track record anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Get it done now.
See now Ephraim looks defeated. You came with energy. Now you're
all I look defeated for. I'm
you look
tired. I'm a tired man. I'm at work.
You lost your zest now. Was it 10 o'clock?
Here's the thing though, with Cade York, which team is he going to go kick for the rest of the season and hit big kicks in the playoffs like Mevis?
And Mevis is young too, dude. He's so young. It's like that can be a pick for the next 10 years.
Yeah, but he's been kicked out.
That was the perfect.
How many teams? Cleveland was the last team, right?
Of what?
That he was on, right?
Mevis?
Mevis was
York.
Oh, York. Yeah, he was in Cincy. He was Cleveland too. Yeah, last year Cleveland. I think Cleveland a few years ago. He's been all over the place. I think he was in New Orleans too. He's been everywhere.
He's not lasting anywhere. So
no.
And some of the teams he didn't even kick with. He was just like practice squad or training camp. Like, yeah.
We'll see. Friday's gonna be an interesting game. We'll see if they actually play this kid for a half.
Yeah.
There's no way I would put Gino in at this point. There's no reason for it. And take it from there.
Well, thank you for calling, man. We appreciate all your.
Thank you for having me.
All your conversation, your insight.
It's always good to talk to you, Tyler and Bubs. It's great.
The best question is, hey man, how long you been streaming? Like, yeah, you never watched this show.
Stop. You just complimented the guy having a great call. Now, yeah.
Oh, you just he got my name wrong. Didn't know how long we've been streaming for.
Well, he's streaming the game Friday.
What team do you cover?
It's right.
I'm a Knicks fan.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good night, guys. Be well.
Have a good one.
Buzz, we went over 2 hours.
Yeah, that was preseason. Week 1 will do that, I guess.
You can imagine week 2 if they don't play club like a half this week. This show's gonna be 3 hours next Monday.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be pretty. I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna be pretty. It won't.
I was reminded a few times the importance of winning week 1 tonight.
Yep.
Just now we're blasting Glenn already. They lose by 20 in week 1.
Because it's just basic football decisions. Like, and you see little things, be like, all right, it's just the preseason. It's just the preseason. Vanilla play calling, no big deal, no big deal. But the decision, the actual handling of your team, like you can't ignore that. That's something that's so. Well,
What do you think? And not to, I know we got to wrap things up, but what do you think is the percentage? It's got what 90-10 that believe in Glenn. Or don't believe, I should say.
Nobody believes him.
Or I guess the percentage of optimistic Jet fans. Because you make a good point earlier. I wanted to go back to it. I don't know if Affer might have brought this up too. Or I think it might have been Neil. The national view, people like the Jets. Even Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football has them winning 9 games getting into the final wild card. He mentioned some of the guys from the AFC roundtable, like Bills fans, Dolphins fans. They're all high on the Jets. I don't know if that's...
Well, I think it's
weird, but the Jet fan isn't.
No, well, that's because the Jet fans know what Aaron Glenn is and the word about what he does. I think the outsiders have faith. They have more.
They look at the roster.
They have more faith in Geno Smith than we do, and they have more faith in Frank Reich than we do. I think the denominator of Glenn not being good is the problem. Like, I think, dude, if you give this team to John Harbaugh, people say, hey, you know what, probably an 8-win team. You give not like any, like, I think in Stefanski, anybody, like, hey, that's probably an 8-win team, maybe 9. Glenn's the X factor.
Well, that's the crazy part is the Jets, and I'm very bullish on the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be really good this year. I think the Giants, call me crazy, this is just how I see it. I think they'll make the playoffs, but that's going to be a different story, different day with the Giants. I just view Harbaugh as so important. I also think Dart's the real deal, but the Jets are more talented than the Giants on paper. Like, they have more talent. Just look at the receiver room, more talent. But the Giants are getting the attention because, number one, Dart feels like could be the future. Obviously, Geno, best case scenario, even if he goes out there and has a good year, you're still drafting somebody next year. But the head coach is huge. If the Jets had Harbaugh, even if the Jets had McCarthy, let's say they fired Glenn and brought in McCarthy, who is that retread that people don't love McCarthy. He's not as beloved or praised as Harbaugh, but even if they had McCarthy, I'd probably be sitting here saying that they're going to be a 10-win team.
If they had McDermott, I'd say 8-9 wins.
Oh, McDermott, McCarthy, Stefanski, any of those guys.
Yep, me too.
I would have said 10 wins.
And that's the X factor to this. I think, Jet fans are cynical, rightfully so. We're concerned because of what we saw last year. And then it's the Geno, what Geno Smith that you're getting too. But I just had this conversation over the weekend. Like, I like the talent on this team. I like the playmakers on offense, the playmakers on defense. Can they be coached up and get them in sync sooner rather than later? And can they get better? Like, last year, nobody got better. They got worse. All of your young players regressed, which is almost next to impossible to do. Almost as impossible as not getting an interception.
And to Neil's point that he brought up earlier, and we've brought it up a lot, everybody, but the talent is huge. I mean, just going back a few years ago, I went down the rabbit hole when he brought it up, just going down the depth charts the last few years. Like the 23 year with Rodgers, where we were all fired up, pumped up, Hard Knocks, the receiving core that year going into it was Garrett, Allen Lazard, and McCole Harmon. Those are your top 3 receivers. And then behind them was Randall Cobb, Xavier Gibson, Jason Brownlee. That's when he had the big camp. Like, that's awful. That's an awful receiver.
Well, they were thinking that Aaron Rodgers is going to carry the team.
Yeah,
he's a complete magician. Yep.
And Saleh at that point didn't completely damper his. People looked at Saleh and said he won 7 games with no quarterback play and his defense is elite. You give him just average quarterback play and they're going to win 10-11. Fast forward even a year later, Mike Williams was at the end of his career. That was obviously a disaster. Tyron Smith blew up in their face. So even that talent, the little talent that they had, they still had Lazard playing a role. And then no questions asked about last year, what they were rolling out there at receiver between Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Lazard, Arian Smith. Like, it was.
No, they have talent. They have legit talent. And that's why, if Aaron Glenn bombs out this year, damn well next year's job will be very desirable. 3
100%.
first-round picks, a ton of cap space, and a lot of young talent where it's not like a true rebuild. Aaron Glenn's trying to do a rebuild. The next coach, if it's next year, is not a true rebuild. It's like, find your quarterback and win games. That's it.
No.
You're good.
This next year could be a win now situation if you get the right quarterback and he goes out there and impresses right out of the gate, whoever that quarterback might be. especially if you see the young talent this year play well. Like if David
100%.
Bailey has a really good year, Sadiq, Pons, all these guys, I know they're hurt. Omar Cooper, like if they get better as the year go on, show you things. Some of these other guys too that they brought in, like if Membu and Olu continue to get better, AD Mitchell takes a jump.
Yeah, Mason Taylor. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not like Garrett Wilson and a bunch of guys anymore. It's like or Garrett and Breach and a bunch of guys. There's literally guys here if they're coached correctly can be explosive playmakers, and we haven't had that in forever. So
yeah,
I don't know. Just hope, man. I can't do another one of these. I can't do another shit here. I can't do it.
I just want. Can they just be like? I mean, 7 and 10 would be great, but can they just be
relevant at Halloween?
5. Can you get to 3 and 5?
Relevant at Halloween, man. Give me something to watch in November. Please.
I know. Forget meaningful December games. Just the meaningful September games. Just get to 1-0. I'd love to be fantasy land of the possibility of beating Green Bay and getting to 2-0.
So give out all your information, man. How do people find your channel?
Oh yeah. Appreciate the support as always. It's just Bubs on Sports here on YouTube. Find me over there, all Jets content all year round. Got our annual player preview series going on right now. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 players, one from offense, one from defense, break them down. Recaps after each practice, game previews, game recaps after each game, preseason games as well. Some midweek news updates, things of that nature all throughout the season. So that's where you can find me over there.
Thank you guys for tuning in, checking it out. Tomorrow, Ian will be on. We'll be doing some recap stuff with Ian, and then Friday night's the game, and we'll recap it next week. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you later.